Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
Uriel from third, Moreno at second, the pitch. Swinging a soft liner, right field, base hit. Uriel scores, Moreno around third, D-backs win. Kevin Newman delivers his fourth hit of the night. Rubin, we give it away to Natchez out in front. Martin scores! Natchez to Martin, and it's an offensive explosion in the third period. Carolina has a 3-1 lead. And it's Wyatt Johnston, 2 goals in the game. He'll feed it off for Steele, and he scores. Johnston, who was on hat-trick watch, plays it forward for Sam Steele. He gets the empty net goal. It's a 5-1 Stars lead.
Feeds up top to Joe. Back to Shea. Off the stutter step. 30 feet away, 8 to shoot. Drives to the defenders, floats it up off the backboard, and knocks down a tough 13-footer. My goodness.
Tatum deep on the left side against D-Wade. Garland jumps out of him. Tatum turns the corner. Kick out. Open. Jalen. 3. Got it. Jalen Brown knocks down the killer 3 with 1:07 to go. And that's all that separates the Celtics from a 3-1 series lead.
Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. If you miss anything, you can catch us on the podcast, Apple, Spotify. Tune in.
I always forget that one.
Other places.
Sometimes
I will say there's an issue with Google. I know that. Google is being very difficult about our podcast. So,
I know one thing.
If you've got other options, do that.
Shane, somebody told you yesterday on social media, you better get your act together.
Uh-oh.
Although they didn't tell you, they told me and you. And I guess we could probably make it happen.
Oh, come on, Shane.
But Shane, we've struggled with this for 20 years. Almost 20 years you and I have been together. We need to figure out how we're going to label replay page, segments. Somebody would like to know, would like for you to put the guest.
I haven't labeled any for 2 years, so.
Oh, I feel a little deflection. A little deflection.
You know what Coach Rule would say?
He touched it.
Yeah, he'd say that's on me.
Hey,
I'll get it figured.
I'll take care of it.
I'll get it figured out.
Yeah. That was a real Dion answer over there, Shano.
Tony made that up. I don't know where he's coming from.
Dang, shots fired early with Dion Schillerberg.
I think he's glaring at me, but I can't see his eyes.
Which would you prefer, Dion Schillerberg or Shane Sanders?
Functional people.
Shane Sanders sounds like a
low-budget
movie star.
Low budget? Is that what you're calling him?
What's happening?
Yeah, what'd you think on that?
I don't know that I can answer that.
I don't even know.
Oh,
sometimes certain low budget movie stars have like nicknames.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Like
Dominic,
you mean like Cruz, Dominic?
You mean like a B movie star, like a Steven Seagal these days, or
like Jerry Seinfeld in the cartoon? You said the B movie? What?
Yeah, like B movies. You know what that is?
I don't know. I think so.
B movies are like low budget movies. They used to be like monster movies.
Shane, are they the ones that I like that are bad, like Piranaconda?
Yes, that's a B movie.
That'd be
Dude, those
B
are
movie.
sweet.
Yeah, like there's
no, they're actually not. The premise are pretty cool, but the CGI,
the execution is pretty bad a lot of times.
Yeah. I know one thing. Coach Rule wouldn't cut. Yeah, actually, he would. I was gonna say he wouldn't cut off my conversations, but he does.
Yeah, right.
I don't really know.
It's very intense.
I don't even recognize what we're doing.
Man, so I almost said something because I saw this on. Was it a game show? I can't remember.
Is it a food show?
No, definitely. It was people that you don't think are attractive that most everyone else does.
Beyonce?
You don't think Beyonce is attractive?
I think she's not my cup of tea.
Are you serious?
Like she's pretty.
You cannot like her.
No,
I was about to say
she's pretty, but it's like not my.
You're gonna have to get off the stage if you just over here fibbing.
It's like okay, like LeBron's a really good basketball player, but his game doesn't meet my eye.
Why would they cheer him in Cleveland?
I don't know. He's only left him at the altar twice. It's fine.
Team, hey, but
Beyonce is really attractive.
You can eat the meat and spit out the bones with him though. Like he did get you a title.
He got you a title. That's fine. Which
Yeah,
is
that's
more. That's a lot for them.
Yeah, more than Craig Elo and Brad Doherty could do.
Well, if
And
LeBron's career comp was Craig Elo, he'd be a terrible failure.
Ron Harper,
big Ron Harper guy.
Me too. You didn't know Harper was a cat. You didn't know.
No, I knew him as a Bull. I was a Bulls Harper guy.
Yeah,
I know like he could get a bucket with the Cavs, and that's not really his job.
When he hurt his knee, yeah, because he had bad knees.
Yeah, but he's like defensive stopper.
He used to get buckets. He's a great interview.
Yeah,
one of those guys that is very, very honest.
He seems like he's got some James Williams vibes.
Oh yeah. Somebody else has to tell that story because I can't do it justice.
Yeah,
but it was one of those things where I almost, when James was done talking on the panel, I wanted to run over and just hug him immediately.
Yeah. Did you?
Full disclosure, kind of. Yeah.
See, I like how you say I wanted to, like you didn't do it.
But it wasn't like a full-fledged run over there, same foot,
like
same shoulder.
It was like kind of the bro
no,
up. No,
we kind of made eye contact from across the room because he kind of put two and two together.
He was romantic.
Like, hey.
Better be ready to deal with the heat. You know what
I'm sorry, you can't give me eye contact across the room.
You're not gonna get me. No, so I think he was thinking, man, I've seen this dude someplace before. And I pass him every game on the plane.
Okay.
And he looks kind of like a regular guy.
I forget you work there sometimes.
Me too. Because it doesn't really seem like it. But anyway, so I kind of gave him like the one hey, like hold up. No, not the what's up. The hold on.
Okay.
So he kind of chilled and waited while everybody else dispersed.
Yeah. So
then I went over there. It wasn't like a slow jog movie hug.
But you did hug him.
No. It was the two handshake.
The double?
Yeah, where you kind of put the other one up by the wrist.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Is
that I don't know if I can ask that question.
It's a wrestling thing.
Okay.
I got it from Coach Denny.
Okay.
You can ask me anything you want.
I didn't know if it was I didn't know if it was a cultural thing.
We do a lot when it comes to handshakes. But everybody else does it now too. So that's another one of those things that I want reparations for.
I'll see what I can do. I'll bring it up at the next meeting. I don't know.
Yeah.
My fight's with the British. You got to fight with other people.
People are doing it like graduation lines and
just like doing the whole.
Just doing too much. I feel like it's basketball intros.
No, I feel like
6 foot 2 inch guard.
Everybody
from Enid, Oklahoma. I don't even know why I picked Enid.
I'll say who's from Enid?
Willis Brown, guy that I used to play with at Nebraska.
Okay.
Ended up breaking his neck in the spring game.
Oh God.
He was great.
That got disappointing in a hurry.
No, he's cool.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, I think so.
Last you knew.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to speak.
No, every person that's ever done like the two-handed, like the handshake and then the up on the forearm, has either been like over 60 or black. So I didn't know if it was like I don't know if it was a cultural
David
thing.
Sanders' grandpa fits both of those.
Yeah. If they're old and black, like they're definitely doing the double hand thing.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I
didn't know.
I can recreate his voice in my ear because he's significantly taller than me.
I didn't know if it was like
I appreciate you, my brother.
I don't know if it was like a well done steak situation or what. Like
wow.
Well, sometimes
Speaking of which, full disclosure, I threw out the remnants yesterday of a little bit of Greek yogurt that I thought may have been a little sus.
Yeah, I don't. You don't want to do that.
No, it was probably fine.
Yeah, but
I just don't mess around with milk.
That's fine.
Milk and yogurt.
I
just started buying yogurt like 3 years ago, and I don't even eat it. I use it in things. So
you're one of those people that like that's like pretty
weird.
No, pretty
strange.
Like aggressive about the
particular
for like food expirations and stuff. Though
I am not.
You're not. Oh, okay.
I am not. Dairy, yes. Anything else, I'm rolling the dice.
Pretty lenient on.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I just cut like 6 slivers off some country ribs that I made.
Country Road?
last Tuesday, maybe.
Take me home.
Yeah, I don't. It's just a little bit left in the Ziploc bag, and I don't. It doesn't belong in the refrigerator. Like it's either in Tupperware or eat it.
Mhm.
Like the foil wrappers and plastic wrappers would drive me absolutely insane. Yeah, don't they ugly up your fridge.
Oh, okay, so you like repackage everything?
Yeah, but then again, we do have 226 pieces of Tupperware, and I've started over 3 times because somehow the lids, like socks, get eaten.
You want to hear the like most like unsurprising thing about me that you're gonna just shake your head at?
You don't ever have leftovers.
No, I have a lot of leftovers. Could go out to eat all the time,
Oh, figures.
but like 90% of our food containers are the takeout boxes from Mahogany.
You can't put those in the fridge.
Yeah, you can. They're really good containers. The Mahogany boxes, really good containers.
Mahogany, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah. Another not surprise this morning.
they're the
Did you go to the new location yet?
yeah, a couple times.
Of course you did.
Well, I like it there.
We will embrace it.
Of course you did.
I enjoy their food. You know what's funny is
No, I don't. Who eats mahogany multiple times in a couple week stretch?
no, it's like a month. Well, full
I'll take it.
disclosure, one of them was for my mom's birthday.
Greatest story ever told. Next to the birth of Jesus.
One of them was for my mom's birthday, so it was, it was like a special occasion. It wasn't just a casual.
Yeah.
The other one was, but I don't know what to tell you.
You and my barber would get along. I don't remember the last time that dude's bought groceries.
Yeah, I buy some groceries, not a lot.
That man lives the semi-charm bachelor life.
I would say he doesn't have any kids, does he?
Well, he's
Or they
20.
grown.
Yeah, he's 25.
Yeah, so that's nice.
And that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that no kids life is.
Condo downtown.
Yeah,
Little smooth black BMW.
nice.
Baller.
It's fun. Like people think because of some of these stories that I tell that I make way more money than I do, and I just have to tell them it's like, no, I just don't have kids.
Yeah. Well, that'd be tremendous.
Like that's the
I'm waiting for the windfall starting on June 1.
you get one of them out of the house.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think people appreciate how much money they would have if they did not have children.
Mm-hmm.
Expendable income is great.
Yeah. Guess what happens the month after that?
July 1st.
And everybody, it will be 19.
Everybody.
Yeah, you know what that means.
We love it.
Zero support.
Let's go.
Get up on out, yeah. Go on now.
Get on out the house.
Go on. No more freeloading.
No more free rides, baby.
No. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, they used to, at the old place where we used to
Batches.
work. When the old place used to work, they used to give me a hard time all the time. It's like, no, I just don't think people understand how much money you would have if you did not have children.
No,
You do.
I did the math.
But a lot. It's like, I'm adding it up.
Yep, done the math. Kicking myself sometimes.
It's like, man, choices.
I went to go see Centurion. Well, they combo, so I went to go see the Colonels and the Malcolm Clippers yesterday at Omaha.
Yeah.
And Zoe, because I got her from school, so like there's a stretch during the day, like I'll have her all day today too. Not like we're splitting households, but just people are busy.
Mm-hmm.
She had a bag of. She ate, so I had to rush because the game started at 4. I was like, I'm gonna be a little late because I have to get her from school. And she's one of those people that at least likes to say goodbye to her friends. So instead of waiting in the pickup line, which is like driving in Houston or Atlanta, I wait like 15 minutes. And so I get there at like 3:50. All right.
Mhm.
And, she'll come bebopping in and she's like, I'm hungry. I was like, all right, cool. Right. She likes these Hawaiian roll soft pretzels. Have you seen them in the little containers? So she ate I'm not kidding you. She ate like 12. Okay. Then she wanted to take them with her to baseball. So I was like, oh, cool. Well, no concessions for you. Let's score. This little girl ate about. She wanted me to put them in a microwave. I said, what part of me you understand? And like, that's not going to work. Like by the time we get there, this I talked to her too. I'm so mean. And she's like, 10 seconds, Daddy, 10 seconds. And so you have to put the little spray butter on and a little cinnamon toast crunch stuff. And I'm like, I said, this
They're not going to be warm when we get there.
I said, okay. I said, knock yourself out.
Not how heat works.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, this little girl, whatever. I gave in. We're rolling. 25 minutes in. Can I have some popcorn? Why?
This smells delish.
That's exactly what she said. It smells good. And she bebops her little narrow behind on over there and gets a big old tub of popcorn. I was like, you go over there and sit down. I'll hand it to you. I can do it. All right. So what happened to your popcorn? I spilt it. Oh, yeah. So where I was going with this story is a guy asked me, sometimes when you have like smaller town teams, I can tend to stick out more.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So fielding a lot of questions.
Been there.
Fielding a lot of questions and enjoying the game with my buddy Brett. And a guy comes over and he's like, oh, who's this? And he's pointing at Zoe. And I said, she should have been birth control, but considering she's here, her name is Zoe. Thank you. I'm done for the day.
That's a joke my wife would make.
I had it in 40 minutes with that girl.
Man, that's not the funniest part about kids, though. It's like, no, we got food. We're ready to go. We got this thing. You're like, ooh, can I get a hot dog? It's like, bro, we just ate at home. It's like, yeah, but there's, see, you got to think ahead where you're like, okay, they're going to want this regardless.
Hey, by 6th grade, Caleb would say, we're not stopping before we get there, are we? You're learning. They used to think getting in the car for these ridiculous AAU this stuff was like, man, first gas station, what are we getting? Not a damn thing.
Gas.
You're lucky if we stop. We better hop on out.
Get those Pampers on, kids. We're not stopping.
So I watched some pretty good baseball, and I may go watch another 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
I should probably switch classes.
Yeah.
Just do something different. But
I mean, Class A was going yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be some tough battles.
We had some soccer state champions crowned yesterday as well.
Yeah, I watched
Gretna East year 1.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that.
Yeah, but still,
City of Lincoln,
Southwest.
Yeah,
they got it. We'll talk to Suits later. He was out there. I know he put together a little video package.
He could run for mayor out there.
Oh, probably.
The Lincolnites love them some Kevin Suits.
Well, I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, I watched the guy from Malcolm shove yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Porter got him to say yes to Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first inning, he was consistently, he was 90, 91, touch 92. Yeah, he was tough.
You're doing that at Malcolm, like nobody's hitting that.
He's tough.
Nobody's hitting that.
And I mean, the Colonels, they kind of kicked it around early, but win some, lose some.
Well, good for Evan. I'm glad he got one.
Yeah, Malcolm has a lot of good administration. I mean, my man Twilliger is soup, and they got a pretty sweet AD in Dallas. And they have, like, arguably my biggest fan ever. Her grandson plays shortstop for Malcolm, and what are the odds? I used to just call her my florists.
Mm-hmm.
She was at Hy-Vee on 156 at Maple.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, every time I went in there, ask my mom. She would, like, rub my face. He's so amazing. I used to be like, man, I got terrible self-esteem. I need to be around you more. Now, can I get these 4 Gerber daisies?
You just go and you're like, I just need pep talk.
Yeah, right? But she thought I was good looking, so it was cool, It was just like, and I was, she goes, I used to like Johnny Rogers until you started coming in. And I was like, ooh, I don't know about that comp. So it took me much longer.
Think Johnny's a handsome man?
It took me, hey, no disrespect. My man's come back from like triple lower body surgery. Like knees, hips.
Well, I saw him out at Supernovas.
You talk about somebody that would beat your head in pickleball.
Oh, yeah. I've heard
that would be Uncle Johnny.
He goes.
And he's highly competitive.
So he goes around on the circuit a little, not like the circuit, but like the places where people play publicly in Omaha. I haven't ran into him yet, but I'm trying to.
It's what he does.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. He sent many people into Kenny Wilhite. And great racquetball player.
Yeah.
Gave him the business.
Yeah.
I mean, The staff won't even mess with him. And like,
I gotta find him. I gotta find it out. We'll set up a little pickleball deal.
yeah, you're gonna get beat by a guy that's gonna be 80 and two
Yeah.
knees and one hip.
That wouldn't be the first time. That happens in pickleball all the time. There's honestly there's people that I play against that are you look at them and you're like, there's no way. There's just no way. And they beat your head in.
Yeah.
Whether it's, they're like you're perceived like of their condition or their age or whatever, and you're just like, there's no way.
Mhm.
And they beat your brains in.
Yeah.
It humbles you. The first, especially because when you're not very good, you just constantly have 80-year-olds beating your head.
Shane, did you wake up traumatized getting beat by an 11-year-old? Or were you good?
Well, maybe.
Well, I mean, maybe. I mean,
Well, maybe.
Was he just beating your head in? You weren't letting him win because it was his birthday or anything, right?
I am old.
I shouldn't have asked.
No.
Forget it.
he's solid.
Dude's
He's-
taking longer than Shea Gilgeous
he's-
Alexander.
well, I
takes
mean, I
to
had
the hole.
to think back to it. I
Herky-jerky
mean,
game.
it's his game. That's my nephew's game. So
right.
that's what he likes to do.
Concede to the pup. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Otherwise, Shane, the natural athlete, would have had him.
Yeah, like Jokic,
Just got him.
natural athlete.
No, so I did my first tennis lesson yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I feel good. I feel okay. I'm not like sore. or
Like
anything.
James Brown type?
I feel good. No, I'm all right. Like more like Kendrick.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all right.
I'm kind of down on Kendrick right now, but I like Kendrick.
I don't care about the thing
I'm over
at
it.
all.
Yeah.
I don't at all. Not even a little bit. But no, it was good. I played
BBO Ravi.
I played a lot when I was young,
BBO Ravi.
but it's been a minute, so I'm kind of like trying to get back into it.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a good time.
You're weird. You're
What do you
going
mean?
through a pre-midlife crisis.
What do you mean?
You're going to have a Maserati here shortly or something?
Lord willing. No. I don't do sports cars. I'm an SUV guy. I don't like being low to the ground.
Oh, I hear you.
I'm not about that life.
No.
Now, I guess
I hear you, man.
there's like some people don't really have a choice but to be low to the ground, so that's tough.
Too exhausted from being amazing yesterday.
That's tough. No, if I roll up in like a Wagoneer or a Land Rover, I went through a midlife crisis.
Shane, one of the teachers at Prairie Lane has the exact same car as you.
Either that or we signed a great radio sponsor one way or the other.
She's the art teacher. I mean, no, don't be offended by the company you keep. I'm just saying you guys both have the same taste in car colors.
Mom, get my nuts.
He does love a bright blue car.
Dude, it's kind of weird.
Bright blue car.
Freaking bats.
Coming up on the show today, 8 o'clock, we got Ben Mclaughlin on Husker Radio
B
Network.
Mac, big weekend.
One of our favorites. We've got Rashad Phillips talking NBA prospects, NBA in general.
Talk soon.
Coming up at 9. Talk soon. 9:30, we've got Diane Mendenhall. She's the president of the Omaha Supernovas. We got big stuff coming up this week.
I know.
Big
You asked
stuff.
me about Coach Rule. I'm on it.
Yeah.
I got to get the schedule.
No, you're all good.
But the other thing is with Nebraska,
Mhm.
do you like the fact with the end of the weekend series, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
I mean, I do. I like that they bump it up a day so that they got a little bit more time before the Big Ten tournament next week, which you and me will be out at. You can say hi to me. Don't say hi to DB. He gets a little. No, I'm just kidding. You can say hi to DB too.
Yeah. I think
We're friendly. We're men of the people.
Yeah.
We're just out there.
Just ask me from yesterday.
He's just gonna hide in a corner somewhere, but I'll be out and about. We've got more Hurrdat Sports Radio coming up next. Let's talk a little Colorado in prime time.
Schedules.
First pitch to Evans. Cole swings and hits one in the air to center. That's hit pretty well. Matheson going back to the wall. That ball is gone. Cole Evans is the hero. On senior night, a walk-off 3-run homer by Cole Evans. And it's about to be party time in Lincoln.
We will be back. will be back. We will be back.
Pitch.
We will be back. Sports Radio.
To center. That's hit.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590 ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here on the Pillar Exterior stage. And we're true professionals this morning because we already got the lineup out in the first segment. That's what we do.
Making progress. That's one in a row.
Dude.
See,
And
so I got to tell players, see if you can make 1 day 2, 2 days 3, 3
I
days
didn't have
4.
to tell you to retweet the stream. Like, we're doing good today.
Did you like my impersonation of your voice?
Oh, were you doing a thing?
Did you retweet the stream?
Is that my voice? Is that what I sound like?
Well, you get so serious and you kind of lean in knowing good well I can hear you just fine.
Well, you know, I like to just make sure.
Can you imagine if we didn't get along?
Oh, yeah, you would hit me.
Oh, you'd be dead.
I'm 100% aware that you let me say things that
sometimes I just have to. I'm a little taken aback.
There's maybe like 3 people in the world you wouldn't just end for
just
saying.
Like, yeah, he does look out. So I got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I just love it when people think you actually get mad at me.
It's like, well, I shake a little.
And then I don't know. You take the headset off, you seem fine. If I ever got a reaction of you, like off the air, I might pull back a little bit. But every time we take the headsets off, you're just like, hey, what's going on? So I'm like, all right, well, I guess we're cool. Just keep running.
Just know that if I don't ever find the steps that go to the side of the stage, I may jump.
I'm going. You could jump off. It's like a 3-foot drop. You're not doing anything.
Wow. I've seen people be hurt for less. What's wrong with you, man?
I thought you were an athlete. That's my bad.
Wow. All right.
See, like that's one of those things. If we didn't get along well, you probably hit me for.
Yeah, good talk. I'll alert you later on. Time state baseball start. I got someplace I gotta be.
Yeah, that's fine. You got just 2.5 more hours of this. You'll be all right.
I forgot. I have a nail trimming for the dogs coming up. I don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
It's mobile, but it's cheaper than taking them.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about them scratching up my car.
Yeah. I just do it. I do the nails myself.
I think I would like to, but I don't have the.
You know the clippers.
I don't have the heart.
Okay, so full
hurt
disclosure, I make my
you.
wife do it.
Yeah, keep it 100, Tim Johnson. I knew it. See, that's the kind of stuff that almost sent me into an emotional tailspin. And then all of a sudden you come clean. I knew it. Forrest Gump over here. Well, full disclosure, my wife does it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big deal.
It is. Yeah, I'm not playing the bad guy. She's always the bad guy with the dogs. I won't do it.
She has a very stern look too. And
Yeah.
dogs are the only animals that can
Like recognize facial expressions. Yeah.
Yeah,
I will say
she looks like she's not playing. She has like those piercing blue eyes, and it's just like,
yeah. Well, you get
say it again.
I call it kitchen face, right? Like you can't have
a part of
kitchen face. Like she works in the kitchen. You can't have like the real like sweet demeanor, which she's capable of, and like that's how she is with me. But you got to have
why?
Because I'm a charm to be around.
Yeah, regular treat. Let me tell you.
I mean, you keep showing up.
Fudge.
I
don't believe in collecting unemployment.
Yes, I am your only option. No, yeah, I don't. I'm real bad playing bad cop with the dogs, but I will say if there's a reason I raise my voice at them because I don't do it hardly ever, they're like lockstep immediately. Like when I go into Dad's not happy voice, they go boom, which is
you're weird.
Yeah,
Shane, I got to ask this real quick. Did you have a feeling that Nikushkin wasn't going to play last night?
I didn't know. I mean, I didn't have a feeling. I mean, you could.
They announced the suspension like basically right before game.
Yeah, you weren't right before you weren't like Black Eyed Peas. You didn't have a feeling.
So when the line started to plummet, I was like, "What is going on?" They're at home. I think they. Oh, I saw. Who's our Rangers guy?
Who? Like a guy we talked to?
Yeah, he's not really a Rangers guy. Oh, Rosen.
Oh, Dan Rosen.
Yeah. And he was like he said the line went from like minus 130 avs to close to pick 'em by the time the puck dropped.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I was watching that. There was the line did move a lot because of that, because of the whole Val thing. But so it is what it is, I guess.
Now you're sweating bullets.
I mean,
you and Husker X's and O's. This dude tried to tell me that when they're skating well, they're unbeatable, and I was like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, they are, but
in his defense, he
did
say this was probably the Western Conference Finals preview.
You got to have.
I don't believe
you got to have all the cogs there, and they don't have all the cogs there. So I mean, they're done.
Who are you, the Cleveland Cavaliers?
They're done for
Cogs,
kind of hobbling around.
They're going to be hobbling around. The next game will be just as bad as it was last night, and that'll be the last game of the season.
I hope they get beat so bad, the Celtics. I do.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen in the East.
I just want to see. Part of me likes chaos, so I just want to see they're like the Toronto Maple Leafs of the NBA.
Okay,
you're star-studded. You got a lot of good players. Everybody always talks about your depth, and somehow
I thought that was the Lakers.
That's a lie.
They're star-studded. They have the most.
They have 2 stars.
They have the most wins of all time for championships.
Not to go out Reggie Miller, but you can pick which one. He's being scrutinized for that.
LeBron?
No, Reggie Miller when he said,
"Oh, with Anthony,
yeah,
Edwards."
Yeah, he said, here's a guy that plays blah, 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 and embraces and accepts responsibility. And we got some of these veterans that are on the Mount Rushmore of basketball that
I mean, there's only
don't
really
ever accept responsibility.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things
there's actually 2.5 people he could have been talking about.
Well, I mean, who else is on the Mount Rushmore that's currently playing?
You could make the case for Steph.
Oh, I mean, I would. I don't know that anybody else would.
No.
So when you say Mount Rushmore, I'm talking about top 4, and I don't even put Steph in the top 4. Steph is like 6 or 7.
Well,
didn't
he say currently?
I don't recall it. I wasn't able, because I listened to quote a couple times, and I wasn't able to tell if you meant like current Mount Rushmore or all-time Mount Rushmore.
Are you mad that a guy took a shot during the broadcast? I felt like we were making a big deal out of it.
I didn't care. I mean, like I don't know. That didn't really register with me.
No, the Lakers actually aren't winning.
They didn't win for a minute.
The Dodgers did, and they're nice come from
Oh,
behind.
my bad. Sorry.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
I mean, it's baseball. There's a lot of games.
Yeah, how'd the Red Sox do last night?
I haven't even looked yet.
Yeah, 5-3.
Right
here.
I'm checked out. Listen, I've told you. I was checked out when the season started. You know why? Because they're like, we're not going to spare any expenses in the offseason. Guess who they signed? No one.
Yeah.
They signed Lucas Giolita
and
immediately got hurt.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I was like, cool. You take a 1-year flyer on a guy that hasn't been good in 3 years. And that's your like big expenditure because you're going to spare no expense.
And to think it's only Tuesday.
And then he goes Tommy John right out the gate. It's like, cool. So you basically just signed this dude so you could pay for his surgery and rehab. Cool.
Happy, joy.
Cool.
Did you ever used to watch Ren and Stimpy?
No. I didn't have cable when I was a kid.
I feel like we were late to the party too, but I still managed to pull that off.
I didn't get there.
I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Relative to, like, you grew up with a microwave, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't get one until I was probably 11 or 12, maybe 13.
Yeah.
The first movie I saw on cable was like either Rocky. No, it was Clash of the Titans.
Okay. Which one is that? Is that Kurt Russell?
No, Burgess Meredith was it? Maybe I had a thing for Burgess Meredith. I don't know.
Mick?
Shane, who's the guy that used to play on the Law Show that was Perseus?
Oh yeah, he's definitely in that. I can't remember his name now. Yeah, Hamill.
Mark?
No.
Nope. I almost said that too.
That's the only Hamill I know.
That's Luke.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware who the most famous movie character of all time is played by.
Do you ever go back and evaluate how short and ill-willed you are during these 3 hours?
Oh yeah, I do. I really do. No,
I feel like that wasn't really necessary. You just kind of low-key did that to Shane.
I have listened back before, and I was like, I am way meaner than I mean to be.
Yeah, I'm aware.
I think that's the only reason you like me, because you know I'm not doing it on purpose.
No, I think you are, and then you say I think that's part of the shtick.
I don't think so.
I
haven't even gotten to Dion yet.
Yeah. So you know what's funny about this?
What's that?
You like to like whether it's the schedule, the ill will, the lead. You like to talk about things that I can't get out of player coach mode.
Yeah.
So I have to entertain a different.
That's why I like talking to you about it.
I have to entertain a different way of thinking.
Yeah, that's why I like talking to you about it.
Because I want to say I don't care, but you make me feel compelled to have to care.
Well, I like to bring a well-rounded view to our listeners. You're the voice of the player coach. I'm the voice of the people.
I'm done.
We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
Shane, he had put the headset on
Stop.
already,
It's
man.
It's not his fault.
Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Radio here on AM 590 ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on Twitter.
Do you want to reverse roles just for like one segment?
I would love to have control of my microphone.
Just one segment.
I would love to have control of my microphone.
We'd have to make it a short segment. So that's all I'm good for is short stuff.
You can find us on Twitter, Facebook,
it's
YouTube.
So
That's DB.
passive aggressive.
I'm Ravi Lulla, live on the Pillar Exterior Stage. What I do? What I do
I
this
thought
time?
you'd be in a good mood because
I'm in a great mood.
Your favorite team gets a sister team in the WNBA.
I'm in a great mood. I'm doing lovely. I don't know what you're talking about.
Shane, do you know what a Valkyrie is?
Yeah, I know what a
It's the
Valkyrie.
Norse goddess, warrior deals like in Thor.
That's Golden State's WNBA
Yeah,
team.
we love it. Warriors and Valkyrie. It's great.
Who's we?
I don't know. We the people of the United States.
Oh, you're back to that again. Don't let TK pump you up.
No,
You're far from a man of the people. Okay.
I love how in one segment I can talk about how I've got so many to-go boxes from Mahogany, and in the next segment I can call myself a man of the people.
Right.
It's incredible.
Nothing says man of the people like many sailboats, deck shoes, capri pants, and mahogany.
I don't wear capris. They're linen pants, but they go all the way down to the shoe.
Do you smoke cigars when you go to Mahogany?
You
too?
know he does.
Not at Mahogany. You can't smoke cigars at Mahogany. Come on, man.
I mean, that's what it sounds like. Sounds like that type of place. You
No,
probably
it's
have
a-
your
it's a
your little
restaurant. You
your
can't
little
s-
your little sifter of wine there or whatever.
You don't
and
do a
then
sifter of wine.
and then you're
first of
and
all.
and
Did you
then
say a
you're
sifter?
yeah
no,
and
it's
then
a sifter of like whiskey. You
yeah,
don't do
your
sifters
sifter of
of
whiskey,
wine.
and then in your khakis, and then I mean, it just sounds very. What's the word you like
Do you
to throw
know
out there?
this whole time I thought
Khakis.
it
What
was
am I in 8th grade?
Yeah.
Snifter?
It might be snifter.
Now you got me.
I don't know.
Where's
I
channel?
don't
where's
really-
channel 3, Sean?
I don't really drink whiskey that much.
Tennessee. By the way, it was Harry
Hamlin,
Hamlin.
not Mark Hamill
Whatever, man.
or Harry Hamill.
DeMar, Luke.
Murray.
Who's Murray?
DeRozan.
Idiot. No. Jiminy Christmas.
Oh, DeMar Hamlin.
Okay.
Denny. He's a race car driver.
Yep. Are you listen? Choose carefully. Are you riding with him today? Or are you gonna get back on the good side?
I'm
'Cause
riding.
I'm not gonna save your bacon anymore. I'm gonna let you get skewered.
I'm riding with Denny.
Denny.
Yeah, nobody's talking about NASCAR around here. Nobody wants that. But speaking
Well, I
of,
almost said something to get us shut down. Everybody's all sensitive about gender.
oh, I thought you were going to say that people like us usually aren't riding with NASCAR, but
No, you haven't seen Jordan lately?
I haven't.
Yeah, he's on an ownership team.
Oh well, yeah. It's you got what the one black guy in NASCAR.
It's referred to as token.
Well, you can say token. I can't. Unless I'm talking about like an arcade. Speaking of cars, though,
They still use those.
I don't know. No, they use like the little cards. You like load up it looks like a credit card base or a gift card.
Mhm.
You like load it up on a machine and then you like swipe it.
Do you know that's what they do with scholarship checks now?
Yeah, that's the way to go, man.
Dude, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
I could barely figure out email.
You get those like preloaded cards and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair,
Say it.
email was pretty new when you were in college.
Thank you. Finally said something that's worth me responding to.
I mean, it was like that was not. It's not like you would have been used to email by the time you got to college. Like that was new for most people. Most people didn't even have home computers in the mid '90s. So like that's not on you. That's like a new thing you're learning legitimately.
See,
I'm being nice. Look at me.
I feel a backhanded comment coming up because I'm not going to agree with anything you're going to tell me about Colorado coming up.
Well, I was just gonna tell you that when you're driving,
I might.
you got to use your seatbelt. Saves lives and prevents injuries.
I'm team NDOT.
Only if it is properly worn, though. Make it click. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
She's smarter than you anyway, but you know who should do the NDOT reads?
Who?
Zoe.
Well, I don't think she's smarter than me.
100%.
She may be
like
more
relative to her age. Like if you did like it on a curve, you're officially buried.
So
I work hard at school.
I'm just because I act like an idiot doesn't mean I actually.
Well, I know
am.
it. I know all about that. That's my whole shtick.
No. So let's get into the schedule talk a little bit. I know your favorite subject.
It's okay. I'm gonna entertain it.
It's the one thing you love talking about more than anything, especially in May. We found out Nebraska and Colorado
We're just so mad though.
Well, who's mad? I'm not mad.
We officially
mad?
hate Colorado again.
So I would say that was an easy place to get back to for Nebraska fans, right? Because there was a legitimate hatred before, right? So
Well, what took so long for like teams that were actually beating our heads in? Why did it take so long for us to come around on Wisconsin and Iowa? I saw that coming a mile. Once Gordon went for 425, immediate hate should have started. Immediate.
yeah, no, that's fair.
Immediately.
100%.
Because that was doubled down off of getting blown out at the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, I was
Where
gonna
I
say
lost my mind on a post game show.
because that was 11, right? Was
Dude,
the
yeah,
getting your head beat in?
shouldn't have been that hard.
I think I started hating them.
The whole Alvarez thing overblown.
Yeah, no, I think I started hating them.
The whole little brother Iowa thing understated.
In 2010, the first Big Ten game.
Did anybody not remember 10-6 Iowa or 10-7, whatever that was? You should have started hating them then.
Well, I'm talking about Wisconsin still.
Well,
I started hating Russell Wilson.
I'm canvassing the whole thing
year
on
one.
why you should be ill-willed as a
You
competitor,
should.
like I am with about every team we played.
So I think part of it was
Outside of
Iowa
K-State.
versus Colorado. Is Colorado fans are just worse
They're not though.
than Iowa fans? I don't
There's,
think they're
there's
worse.
an Iowa fan every 6 people you talk to. There's a Colorado fan every 106.
Fair. There's less of them.
like they're harmless.
I don't know about harmless.
Well, when they're not
Like if you put
keying your car, tinkling in bags, or throwing snowballs, they're harmless.
yeah, like those are not like great fan behavior though. Like that's not really what we're looking for. I'm just saying, I haven't heard a lot of stories about Iowa City having, urine thrown at you, or, your car getting keyed, or people being afraid for their life.
It's too cold to be tinkling outside when we play Iowa.
That's the only reason.
Yes.
Because you could like preload those things.
Yeah. Who's handling that?
I don't know who's handling. Like, so you're telling me it makes more sense. No, you're telling me it makes more sense to pee in a crowd of people.
Yeah.
Than it does to like pre-fill.
Yeah.
A urine bomb.
Yeah.
I don't think either makes a ton of sense. So I don't like
they've been lobbed during the course of games, so they got to get there somehow.
I understand
and
that.
with a clear bag policy, unless you were smoked 2 hours before, it's not going to be clear. So what?
Maybe they're just super well hydrated.
Yeah, okay.
You don't know. You don't know.
You get on my nerves.
Can you bring that in a clear
Can
bag
you zip it?
policy?
No, stop.
It's not like you can't bring it in like with in a goldfish baggie. Like you're not gonna. I can just imagine somebody walking in with one of those goldfish bags and be like, "It's clear. Can I come in?"
All right. Okay.
Anyway.
I'm gonna remind myself. I'm gonna look at my Clint Eastwood t-shirt. Be motivated.
What is that? Get off my lawn? Is that what it says?
It's Clint Eastwood, the outlaw.
Clint Eastwood says, "Get off my lawn."
Josie Wales. No, not Walt Kowalski. Josie Wales.
I'm just saying. You can't be like, "No, it's Clint Eastwood." Like that is Clint Eastwood. Gran Torino is Clint Eastwood. You're like, no, it's Clint Eastwood. Yeah, I know. You know, be like, what? I will say I do confuse Clint Eastwood and Charlton Heston sometimes.
Okay.
That's blasphemy.
I mean, it's a couple old white dudes.
What's the word?
Blasphemy?
Hello, friend.
What? What? DB, what's going on?
No, nothing.
Just go boyfriend store or be single.
You seem like you're struggling. What's going on?
A little flustered.
A little flustered? What's going? You want to talk about the schedule?
Yeah.
So Colorado's coming to town. Game 2,
Yeah.
September 7th, the prime time.
All I care about is that's a 2:30 pregame show for me.
It means you don't have to get up early?
No, not so much that as I can put in a full day or the full morning in at Westside.
Okay, good. Nice. That's good.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Get that tape in.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I understand. I think what most people thought of was that's all day to drink before that game.
Yeah, so we'll probably be at the school by 6:30.
That's early.
It's going to be a very long day.
Yeah, it
Only,
is.
but only downside to night games, if I'm not a player and I don't have to wait, is driving back to wherever it is you're going.
Yeah, because you probably aren't driving back before what, 11?
No, not a chance.
Earliest.
Oh.
Yeah, so that'll be fun for you.
Good. Appreciate your support.
I mean, I guess for me,
you should have. Why didn't they have you? Why
too.
didn't they have you in the Bartles and James commercials? I mean, you're just the epitome of support. You're kind of like the old crabby guy anyway, and you like not strong drinks. So Bartles and James would have. Boy, I had to catch myself.
I like strong drinks. I just want them to taste good.
Bartles and James.
I'm not really a Bartles. And
They
James
were
guy.
way ahead of their time. They would have killed the vodka seltzer game.
I do love a seltzer. What do you want me to do?
I know you do.
I'm a big fan. Now I'm not doing the White Claw NA. I don't even understand the point of that. That's just called a LaCroix. What am I doing here?
Topo Chico, baby.
Not trying to. Glad we got to talk about Colorado on the schedule there. Coming up next.
It's by design.
Yeah, I know.
It's all part of the process.
I do this to you all the time, and now you're doing it to me. I don't think I like it.
Yeah, well.
I've tasted my own medicine, and it is bitter.
Clint Eastwood and Charlton Heston? I mean, really.
Tussin.
Huh?
Tussin.
Roba?
Tussin, yes.
Roba? Coming up next, we got Ben Mclaughlin from the Husker Radio Network.
Finally, some sports instead of people laughing all the time.
We talked briefly about almost hockey. We'll talk some Nebraska baseball coming up next here on Hurrdat Sports Radio.
Nikushkin doesn't count.
We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
First pitch to Evans. Cole swings and hits one in the air to center. That's hit pretty well. Matheson going back to the wall. That ball is gone. Cole Evans is the hero. On senior night, a walk-off 3-run homer by Cole Evans. And it's about to be party time in Lincoln.
Welcome back. Kicking off hour number 2 here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and it's always party time here on Hurrdat Sports Radio on the Miller Exterior stage, especially when we're talking to our guy, Ben Mclaughlin of the Husker Radio Network.
It's about to be party time in Lincoln.
Ben, how are you this morning?
Well, judging by the call there, I'm doing just fine. Yeah, it's been a lot better 48 hours than what maybe I had planned after Friday evening. That's for sure.
Isn't it amazing how you've grown on Ravi already? Well, now he's referring to you as our guy. I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm not committed to sharing you just yet. Like, slow down. Although, here's funny thing though, B-Mac, you guys both have the NDOT read in common because we do buckling up, and I'm like, oh, you sound like Benny Mac. He does the NDOT reads too.
It's all right. We just care about people's safety. We're trying to keep them safe out there. That's what we're doing.
The funny thing is, I have like most of those commercials memorized.
Yep.
So like, you just see like the first 3 or 4 words, and I got it from there.
I still read it every time because I'm not that bright. But
you know what else you two have in common, and I think I'm the common denominator. The segments never go how we plan, and they end up being like 22 minutes.
Yeah. I learned that. I was like, okay, segment 1, let's talk about last week. Segment 7, let's actually talk about last week. Because we only have one left after that.
Yeah, I've been trying to
try and get something.
I've been trying to talk about Colorado for the first hour, and we haven't got there yet.
Well, he knows I hate schedule talk, as do you, Ben. So I just been dodging and weaving.
I know, but I'm trying to land the plane here in a compelling way to see if I can get you engaged on schedule talk.
Nope. It's like herding cats, isn't it, B-Mac?
I've been unsuccessful, Ben.
It's a chore. Only some of us have the tools to use to do it, Ravi, and I feel like we're the chosen two. So
how'd we get so lucky?
Yeah, I know, right?
Sometimes you'll have to tell him.
It makes for interesting radio.
Sometimes you'll have to tell him how you have to babysit me operating my computer and my phone too.
Yeah, like I'm.
I love it. I've become an Android expert. I don't even have one.
Wow. Now that was a little unnecessary. So where do you want to start? You want to start with a Thursday, Friday, Saturday important series, or do you want to talk NBA? Because I'm going to get you at both.
Well, suppose since we're talking baseball, we can start there.
We're talking
relatively large series coming up with Michigan State. A lot of scoreboard watching coming up here this weekend. Just got to give the team a lot of credit for coming back and fighting the way that the way Friday night ended. I mean, they allowed 12 runs in 2 top of the 9th innings, the 2 games before that, and to come back and beat a really good Indiana team the way that they did Saturday, and then to back it up on Sunday was just awesome. And so they've given themselves something to play for here this week for a conference championship. Obviously going to need some help from Purdue, but never say never. That's what makes this time of the year so fun.
Yeah, Ben. So let's talk through the scenarios here to win a Big Ten title. So obviously they're a game back of Illinois. They've got Nebraska's got Michigan State this weekend. As you mentioned, Illinois has got Purdue. Do you know, is there a tiebreaker? Like what's the scenario which Nebraska can win if they basically both end up with the same record?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the easiest path here is if Nebraska goes up 2 games here this weekend, whether they sweep, Illinois wins 1, or vice versa. So that's kind of the main goal here is to just do it outright. But typically the way the Big Ten works when it comes to seeding is you've got this list of criteria.
Yeah. And
generally it starts with common opponents, in which case Nebraska would have the tiebreaker over Illinois. Now, I'm not sure from a Big Ten standpoint if you're just going to say co-champions or a share, how that would actually be defined by the league. I don't know if obviously for seeding purposes, you're going to need somebody at the top because you can't have 2 1 seeds. There's that logic's airtight. So you're going to have to you're going to have to.
Were you an accounting major? That's incredible.
Distinguish a 1 and a 2. So, but I'm not sure if they'd hand out co-champions of the regular season or not.
So what do you think? And obviously nobody could predict, Brockett's no a couple weeks ago, but it's just the way you drew it up, right? You find a guy that you think could be a Sunday guy the last 10th of the season that may turn out to play a fairly important role if this team wants any postseason depth as a run as another lefty that can take the bump.
Yeah, and there's no question it's just in the nick of time, and it's better to realize it now than maybe in a summer league situation where he goes and has a great summer. So they turned over the rock just in the nick of time before the season to be over, and it completely changes how Nebraska looks as an opponent in the postseason, because you have two formidable front end guys in Sears and McConaughey, but if you have a third that you can rely on to even get you just 4 or 5 innings, that's just been a really big missing piece to this team. And so far, Brockett's passed every test, certainly the no-hitter, but the games to follow, he's performed well in the same breath. So, I think you feel really good about what Nebraska has if he can continue to produce. And then, now you're kind of getting other guys in the back end, like Damon's guy, Caleb Clark, and even a Drew Christo. They both just took the ball and finished the games on Saturday and Sunday, just took the rest of the bullpen out of it.
So I was watching Christo warm up, and he is very intense, and he always appears to be fairly confident. I mean, he was shoving for quality innings against a really good offensive lineup in a tied game. Like, that has to be, I mean, he already is a good believer, but that has to be something that maybe could be a springboard, not too little, too late kind of thing.
Yeah, and I said on the broadcast, and I still think, certainly a part of me was emotional and reactional, as I typically am, but I still think 48 hours after the fact that, for my money, that was the best outing of Drew Christo's career.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in terms of best statistics, but the circumstances, how badly Nebraska needed that game, how badly Nebraska needed a bullpen arm to take control, the offense in which that he was facing, all those factors contributed to that. And then you throw in the fact that, he had to battle through adversity in that outing. I think he fell behind 2-0 to the first 3 hitters. That's a really dangerous way to live anyway. But when you do it to that Indiana team who is like me, playing wiffle ball in 8th grade, just swinging for the fences every time, like that's how it is. You have to be able to come in and fight through some adversity, and he was able to do that. And not only, turn his outing around, but finish the baseball game, getting those hard outs that Nebraska's had a hard time getting.
Ben, I'm curious about Drew Christo, because you've obviously watched him way more this year than I have. But I look at, I'm a big nerd with the stats and everything. I'm looking at his batting average against is actually really solid. His whip is just barely over 1, which is kind of the neighborhood you want it in. I'm wondering if his results this year maybe are not indicative of a guy that necessarily hasn't pitched as poorly as a 5 ERA would lead you to believe.
Yeah, and I think there's one really good reason for that, looking at those numbers. Drew has had the ball when he was in the rotation for Sunday starts. And so what that means is when you're piggybacking off of 2 guys that consistently get you 6, 7, 8 innings, you have a full bullpen going into Sunday. So what that means is your Sunday starter has an incredibly short leash because you have so many well-rested arms in the pen. So if you go to look through some of the statistics of the length of the starts of Christo, a lot of them, you might see 2 innings or 3 innings. And it's not necessarily that he was pitching super poorly. It was just at that point in time in the series, there's not a huge benefit of letting him fight through some stuff when you got guys behind him that you feel can go get outs. So that's part of the reason why, some of those numbers are a little bit misleading. If you had Friday and Saturday guys that were out of the game in the 3rd and the 4th inning, then you would be much more apt to let him fight through it and, throw his typical 80 to 100 pitches in a start.
If I give you, if you're playing word association and I give you Silva, what comes to mind?
Gamer?
Yeah.
Unsexy, dad bod, maybe something like that. Like, you look at him come off the bus and you're like, yeah, we have so many other guys that I would take in front of him. But then he's just really annoying to pitch against because he gets hit by a lot of pitches. He doesn't strike out a ton. He hits little chopping ground balls.
And he can
turns into
run.
singles with 2 strikes, and he's just blazing fast. So, you think of that Kansas State game, the Jackson Brockett game, he turns a walk into an inside the park home run by stealing second, taking third on a pass ball, and scoring on a wild pitch. I mean, it's just his ability to get around the bases gives Nebraska so many more options on offense. And I think he has 5 extra base hits all year, and he probably is second or third on the team in at bats.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not a big slugging threat, but because he does so many other things well, you just can't afford to take him out of the lineup.
Ben, you've seen a lot of these Nebraska teams over the years. What do you think is a realistic postseason aspiration for this team? Obviously, it looks like they're in really great shape to make a regional, probably a 2 seed, as it seems like where they're locked in at. If you believe any of the projections, which I have no reason not to. Is would making a super regional be a huge, yes, this was a great season? How do you view their aspirations?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like just from a fan perspective, making a super, that's a Sweet 16. So that's a successful year in everybody's eyes, I would say. But, so many of these things, and I hate using this cop-out because that's all we ever do in March Madness when we talk about
matchups, baby.
How far teams can go. It's honestly, that's 100% what it is.
Oh, I'm a Creighton fan. I've been using that excuse in March Madness for years.
Think about Nebraska's last regional, right? Fayetteville. They got stuck with the perennial number 1 team in the country when they probably could have been put in a bid to host most years. Yeah. But since they played the conference-only schedule, they got penalized by going to play the number 1 team in the country. So unlike college basketball, where you can kind of pick and choose seedings pretty close, it's hard to do that in college baseball because a lot of it is, well, can they bust there? What's kind of the draw television wise? Some of those other outside factors do influence where teams go. But if you here's another good example. The Maryland team that ran through the Big Ten last year, they got stuck at Wake Forest.
Yeah.
A team that just, if there was any team in America that could outslug them, it was them, and they had to go to their place. So, I do think a lot of it just gets depend on where you get put. But with Sears and with McConaughey, and if Nebraska can get some of these bats going, I don't think they're an underdog by a large margin if they stay out of the wrong regional.
So that's interesting because people ask, or we'll talk, and it's, well, what's Nebraska playing for? A deep run in the Big Ten tournament, BMAC could probably puts them on the back half of those top 16 seeds, though, right? That's really what you want, right? You don't want to be paired with anybody 1 through 8 if you have your choice. You'd rather be paired with somebody on the back 8 of a seed, right? You much prefer to be with a 12 than you would a 3, something like that.
Sure. And the recency bias is always there. When you are running through conference tournaments in basketball and a team wins, the NC State scenario where they run and win 5 games in 5 days or whatever. Obviously the recency bias is there. The automatic bid was given, but that's kind of what holds through in the committee's mind is the recency bias. And for Nebraska, you'd love to be able to have that going for you as well. With a recency bias of, playing for potentially a Big Ten tournament championship would be legendary. They've made it to that game 4 times. They just haven't won it.
Yeah.
But I think just to make it that far, to have that game be on TV in your own backyard in Omaha, it would be undoubtedly just a massive crowd. If they can find a way to do that, I think they've positioned themselves, at least in the conversations of the top of the 2 seed line, if not, a backdoor regional host, just depending on what happens here this weekend against Michigan State. But that's what you're fighting for at this point is, position yourself in the best way possible where you can make a run.
Hey, how, and I know he would totally deflect, but how we felt when we saw G-Sharp for the spring game. How pumped were the guys this weekend when they saw Greg?
It was special. I mean, it's just been a really challenging few months. I got a text from him. I think it was just after 7 a.m. saying, "Mind if I join you today?" And I just sprung out of bed. like Santa Claus was there.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just such a.
Oh gosh.
I had to do a double take. I had to reread it, but the first thing Will Bolt asked me when I saw him is he here? And I said, yep, he's here. So it was great. It was great. We were down there doing his post-game interview, and we looked up, and he was pointing at Greg, and Greg was pointing at him. Just a neat moment that those two shared. So, yeah, it was just a magical way for him to potentially end his season, to be able to do the last home game, to get a win like that. It was a really, really special day.
And it was so cool because he texted me on Thursday and before the spring game and said, hey, he was going to give the broadcast a chance. And, you know, Jessica had the pregame with your baseball commitments. And when he walked in that studio, it went from kind of a little doom and gloom, the tornado response, a little bit of the guilt we felt from kind of being there. He just changed the whole dynamic of the room with just his presence. And I know that's not kind of who he chooses to be, but it's pretty cool that that's who he's evolved into.
Well, and it's not even necessarily to make Greg feel uncomfortable. It's just how many people that he's had an impact on, a positive impact on.
Yeah.
You know, that's where it all comes from. You know, I can't walk 20 feet on the baseball concourse without somebody stopping me and asking me about him. Like, he truly has his hands, you know, firmly pressed into this community and these programs, to where people care. You know, they care about him, and they care about him doing well, and, you know, showing up to the ballpark and all these little things. That's why the baseball team has those Greg Sharp patches on, and they honored him before the game. You know, all these things it's not to make him feel uncomfortable, but it's just to show their appreciation and how much he means to, you know, the fabrics of our community. Damon, you know this, covering teams, it's much more than you being around the team and the team being around you. You get to know their families. You get to know, you know, what the coaches like to eat. You get to know their golf handicaps. You know, it's much more than just a final score. It's just about being a part of a family. And I think Nebraska baseball has just done such a great job throwing their arms around him.
Yeah, his humility is it's hard to even describe, right? It's like, I mean, from making sure I've got the right coat to wear to making sure I'm at the right stadium to, I mean, he just takes care of everybody, like everybody.
He does. And he does it in a way it's dad-like, but it's also like humorous. You know, we'll be walking out of the hotel room, and he'll kind of give me the head to toe and go, huh, no jacket? You know, it's 34 degrees out. Like, Dad, I'm good. All right?
Or when he opens the window on your side and my side, and he's like, you're going to be okay now, aren't you? You're going to be all right?
She's coming open, boys. Don't fly out.
All right, I'm gonna get you out of here on this because Ravi's a huge NBA guy too. Are the T-Wolves? Is it funny how they went from unbeatable to, oh gosh, they're in trouble? This is the team that we saw the last 12 games of the season. And is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander the hardest guy to give a comp for?
It's ridiculous. I mean, he is so good, and the way that the game's called nowadays is he gets away with a ton, but he knows his game, right? I mean, he's really, really hard to guard. And you're right. Truth be told, I didn't get to see any of the game yesterday. I just looked at the box scores, and yeah, what a 180 we've done on those guys.
Right?
Like,
I mean, they went from the anointed ones to what's
Denver
happening?
pulled the carrot out of their mouth, and they're like, okay, fun's over. You had a cute little run. Now it's time for us to go.
They do have to kind of fix their offense, though. Like, I get it. They're an elite level defensive team, but sometimes watching them on offense, it's like, ugh.
Well, and part of the reason is because it's Jokic, and he's just awkward, right? Like, you've got him, and then, you know, the mixing and matching with the other parts behind him I just think are inconsistent. Obviously, Jamal Murray is one of those guys, but, you know, there's other parts that can show up, and then there's other days where like, oh, did he play? I don't remember him play. Like Aaron Gordon and some of these other guys, it's just like,
well, he's on a heater shooting the basketball.
Well, that's what I mean. Is like some days you'll go off, you're like, oh, maybe he is good. And then there's like stretches that you go on where he averages like 6 points and 5 fouls, and you're like, oh yeah. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting finish to that series because it's been a heck of a story so far.
Can you remotely cheer for the Celtics?
No,
Me,
I can't.
neither. It's incredible.
No, I can't.
It's all right.
I
Big
can't.
Celtics guys over here. It's all right.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is I'm like a small market guy because I'm a Royals fan, and so
The Hornets,
Boston, yeah, Hornets. There we go. Yeah,
Big LaMelo guy, huh?
yeah. How about him?
Dude, at least
Hey,
Gordon. At
Bryce
least
McCown
you
is
get
gonna
to.
do
At least
something.
Gordon Hayward now has a chance to win a championship. He still doesn't play, but he can get a
I was
ring.
gonna say, does he? They used all the duct tape they had in Charlotte, keeping that guy together, and he still didn't work.
It's a Humpty Dumpty situation is what we like to call that one.
B Maxie, I told you when you said yes to sign up for this, be careful what you ask for now.
And it's about to be party time in Lincoln.
Yeah, next time I might even ask you a question. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Good luck with that. I'll give you my cell number off the air, and you and I can talk privately.
Yeah, I had some some football stuff I maybe wanted to get to. It's no
We
big deal.
got a couple minutes.
It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, now he's
fine.
offended now, B Mac. I'm
No,
sorry.
you guys were reminiscing about G Sharp and like I don't it's kind of a
It's
you and him conversation. That's
Pete
all right.
Rock and CL Smooth, man. I'm
It's all
sorry.
right. It's all good.
Reminisce.
No, it's all good. We'll talk to him next time. It's fine.
Uh-oh.
We'll get to it.
I'm gonna get him some Kleenex. B Mac.
Colorado will still be on the schedule next week. It's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, so what time does that put us? That's 2:30 for us, right?
What's that?
The 6:30 kick for Colorado.
Oh yeah, 2:30 for us. So you got all day to get ready. All day.
He's got to do his hair.
Wow.
So do I. We're the most efficient radio duo in America at getting that done.
Yeah, exactly.
Hair and makeup must love you guys.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
B Mac, I appreciate it, buddy.
It's good talking to you, Ben.
Sports guys. Have a
Got
good
it.
That's Ben McLaughlin from Husker Sports Radio Network.
He's great.
Good stuff there. No, you guys, you guys are having your conversation. That's good. It's cool.
He said, maybe I'll get to ask a question. Sorry, I didn't cut into you and your love buddy Alex Sindelar yesterday when you guys were telling jokes.
You got to talk to Alex. Don't
That's
be.
a beautiful question. It is. He's funny though.
And I've noticed you've started saying his favorite term for guys that throw hard, shove.
Oh, is he a shove guy?
Yeah, he said that on the air yesterday, and I think that you picked it up.
I'm a shove cheese guy.
Yeah,
shove and cheese.
Yeah, cheese. Little cheddar.
Yeah.
Little cheddar cheese.
Golly, man, you see some of these guys. We didn't get into my disappointment with Walker Buehler, but
we'll get to it.
They can't beat the Padres. I think they've lost 6 out of 7. It's a good thing the Giants are in town, or they're in San Francisco.
Yeah, you can beat just about everybody else though, so you're probably all right.
We used to own the Fathers. I don't know what's going on as of late.
Not your father's root beer. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla.
It's San Diego. They'll falter.
We'll be back here in just a few minutes more. Hurrdat Sports Radio. We might get to Colorado still. Who knows?
Kelly Oubre.
I got a comp for TJ Lateef too, but who knows when we'll get to that.
Well, I'll play nice.
Sooner or later, we'll get to everything probably.
We will be back. 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 You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
We're halfway through the show here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here on the Pillar Exterior stage. And it's time to remind you to get out to provolleyball.com. Tomorrow is the day, the semifinals of the Pro Volleyball Federation inaugural championship. Got 2 games, 2 matches tomorrow. Omaha is the late game, starting at 8:30, but you can get all session tickets or you can get individual match tickets at provolleyball.com. Let's go out there. All these are going to be nationally televised. Let's show everybody around the country what Omaha does for big events. We want this thing back, living in Omaha, just like a bunch of the other big events do. Let's make this our thing. Go to provolleyball.com and support the Pro Volleyball Federation and your Omaha Supernovas.
The game I was trying to think of was Gestures.
Oh, I've never played that.
Well, you're young.
Ish. Relatively.
Oh.
Well, not as young as I used to be.
None of us are, Robbie. None of us are.
It's very profound, and philosophical. So we were talking. Why were we talking about Clint Eastwood earlier?
Because I gotta hear Steven's voice because he may be the funniest low-key dude on in our stream.
Well, actually, no.
I bet that's not how he sounds.
No, I appreciate Steven. He actually helped us out a little bit here, but I told him I was getting Clint Eastwood and Charlton Heston confused. And he's like, yeah, really easy to confuse. I was like, I don't know, like old white guys kind of in action movies. Like,
do you know who would say that to you? Is the Amazing Daniel. He's that dude too.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, well, spaghetti westerns and road cop movies versus biblical epics and dystopian sci-fi. And I'm like,
did he say dystopian?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And he goes, very easy to confuse. And I go, I see an old man in the desert. That's all I see.
So all old guys look the same?
Well, maybe Steven and
What?
Shane should be
You
buddies.
get old white guys in the desert.
Shane Sanders.
They got a particular look about them.
Dion Schillerberg.
Speaking of Dion, let's get to Colorado.
Surprise, surprise.
Let's get to Colorado. I'm just going to power through. I don't care what you say here.
That would be most days.
Fair. So I was obviously the announcement came out yesterday that Colorado and Nebraska is a marquee time slot for NBC, 6:30 p.m. Get that night game, get a little time to pregame. You get a nice long pregame show starting at 2:30. So here's what I'm trying to say about this though, because a lot of people are going to make a big deal about this game, and I understand it. I think it's a big deal for a different reason. I don't think the Colorado of it, I don't think is that important. I said this earlier. I would trade a loss versus Colorado to not run my program that way. And you push back on it, and that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's
it's
crazy.
If I have to mortgage the way things are run to win that game, I'm not doing it. The juice is not worth the squeeze for me. What I do think is important about this game, though, I tweeted this out yesterday, but the ability for Nebraska to have a game that there is this much attention on, whether internally or externally, I imagine it's mostly externally. I don't think Coach Rule is talking about Colorado right now. I think he's talking about what's up for summer conditioning. I don't even think he's talking about UTEP yet, right? If we know anything about him, probably hasn't even, internally, with the coaching staff, I'm sure he's thinking about UTEP in Colorado, but he hasn't talked to his players about UTEP yet, I would guess. So this is an external thing mostly. But Nebraska in recent years, now contextually, Nebraska hasn't had a ton of success in recent years in any games. But especially games where there's hype or expectations going into it, Nebraska's fallen flat on their face quite a bit, right? And I think one of the most important steps in Nebraska's development as a program, if we want to get this thing back to where we want it to go, is being able to to come into these games where there's a ton of hype for and be able to rise to that occasion, rise to that moment. That's why I think Colorado is important, because it's going to be a ton of eyeballs. Externally, there's going to be a ton of attention. And if Nebraska,
and you just want to see, basically, this is their chance
to rise to the occasion, to show up and have it be, hey, we know everybody's paying attention. We're not going to wilt from that moment.
So this had different sort of this had a different sort of attention, but probably the last time you felt like they did that with a captive audience was in Iowa City a couple of years ago? Or did you pass that?
Further back. I think.
Really? Because they hadn't won enough games yet.
Yeah. How high can the stakes be when that's your record? Right? It wasn't even for a bowl game.
Right.
It was just, hey, this is what it is. It'd be cool if they finally, it was just it's cool they finally snapped the Iowa streak.
See, there's something in me that says you can't poo-poo that, though.
I think it was a big game, but I don't know.
Yeah, and if you look at it in retrospect, what did it mean, as a springboard? Not much.
And I don't even think going into it necessarily people looked at it like this big hyped up game, because you're kind of, well, if I remember right, that's the morning we found out it was going to be Rule. By that point, that's what was being talked about, because he was on. I think he was either on the broadcast or got talked about on the broadcast. That game got overshadowed because Rule got hired that day.
Didn't get overshadowed for me, but
I understand that. But you're looking from a fan perspective.
And I'm just wondering if that's what everybody else was thinking.
I think once the Rule announcement came out, we beat the Iowa streak was gravy.
Huh.
I don't think it's a very different kind of attention and hype.
Shane
than what we're talking
I'm
about.
not asking him. He doesn't even like sports.
You know what I mean? Like the one that I went back to was Oregon 2016.
Oh, big one. And even though Nebraska won, everybody made excuses because
Oregon ended up not being very good that year.
when their tailback got hurt.
Yeah. But that was a game.
Even though their backup rushed for 160
it was
yards. Or
still good, right? That was a game where
they kept going for 2. That game was funny.
That was a game where there was a lot of attention, a lot of hype, a lot of expectations going into that game, and Nebraska rose to the occasion. That's the one that comes to my mind. And you could make an argument Michigan State the year before in 2015. But
was that the out of bounds game?
Yeah, the Brandon and Riley.
Yeah.
But again, Nebraska wasn't very good in that moment, so it was a surprise more than, oh, this is a huge matchup between Nebraska and Michigan State, right? Oregon and Nebraska that year, because Nebraska had kind of made a late run, they'd gotten to a bowl game at 5-7. They'd won that bowl game. There was a little bit of momentum going into that year. Oregon was a really big game. I don't know when the last time there were stakes like that.
That's probably the most recent.
Yeah, that Nebraska actually showed up for.
Because then maybe you have to go back to that they won.
Yeah. Because you could make the argument that was Illinois in 2021, the first game of the season, not nationally, but internally, there was a ton of focus and attention on that game. Northwestern, the same thing the next year, because it was like, hey, now or never for Frost. And that went the way that it did. The last time Nebraska had this much attention on a game and actually showed out and played well and won, I think was Oregon 2016.
Yeah. I think that's safe.
That's why this is important, not because it's Colorado.
And you get a full slate of games too, because I think Texas and Michigan kicks that thing off at 11.
It's a big day. You're the capper on a big day of college football.
It's probably about right, because it's probably the third or fourth best matchup of the day.
Yeah, but it'll be a game. I mean, everybody will be watching that because of Dion, because of Colorado, because it's, generally on big games like that. Usually week 2 or week 3 is a really good slate of games.
So what are we calling that? I just say September 7th because can't understand week 0, week 1, week 2. I just say September 7th.
Yeah, it's Nebraska's second game, so I call it week 2. I don't know what we're calling it besides that, but yeah, it's September 7th. That to me is a big part of progressing as a program, though.
If you're Colorado, why in the world did you schedule North Dakota State?
Because you're dumb.
It's going to be a tough game.
And you don't have, let's be clear, they don't have respect for much of anyone. You think they're going to have respect for North Dakota State?
And I know.
You think they even know what North Dakota State is?
No, let's not go there.
This is the same guy talking out of both sides of his mouth where he says, hey, nobody good goes in the transfer portal, but we get all the good guys out of the transfer portal. No starters go in the transfer portal, but we're going to get all our starters out of the transfer portal. So maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, Shador and what's his bucket?
Travis.
Hunter still, I was going to say Scott. Hunter still play for Astro World was a long time ago, wasn't it? Hadn't gone right since then. Those guys, they'll still be formidable.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they don't have some talent, right?
I wonder, is that line out yet
for Nebraska?
No,
North Dakota State.
North Dakota State.
I don't know.
That would be a miserable game to prepare for.
Yeah,
coming into Lincoln after that game.
Yeah,
you're going to get power, ISO, blast, play action.
And those are kind of all the things where that's kind of all the things where Colorado should tend to struggle, because I don't know who's playing in line for them, and I don't know how many they got.
It's a sneaky tough one.
We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
Much like Eminem, guess who's back? Back again. It's DB and me. I'm Ravi Lulla here on Hurrdat Sports Radio.
Now you're trying to be nice because you know I like him.
I actually forgot you liked him off the top of my head, so I was just doing that.
Did I think you were going to admit to that?
No. You know I never admit to being nice to you.
No.
You can catch us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You can catch the podcast almost everywhere except for Google for some reason because they're jerks about it.
What's wrong with Google?
They're very difficult in their onboarding process of shows.
Can we just use English?
They make it hard to put your podcast on there.
Wow.
Is that better?
Shane, did I ask for that? Because my man is just Jerkosaurus. Was that a dinosaur in the Pleistocene age? I got to make sure. We have a lot of smart listeners, so I have to make sure that's like the correct age. Were there dinosaurs during that era?
The crustacean period?
I maybe said not the crustacean
I was
period.
just kidding. I know that's not a real. Those are like crabs.
Who says that?
Idiot. This dude right here.
What'd I do?
The CFB guide hasn't updated, but it is the premier TV guide. I may have to get so it's cfb.guide.
Well, we'll see if we can get that thing updated. Should we talk to somebody? Should we make a call?
Well, I don't know who you'd call.
Ghostbusters, probably.
God, I can't stand you.
I know. It's okay.
It's tough. I'm gonna need the brass to check in on me.
It's hard out there. It's hard out here.
It is. But going back to So they have to have early lines, right?
Somewhere it does. I don't know where.
That's kind of your thing. How do you not know?
How is it my thing?
Because you're usually up to speed on futures, and I'm not a big futures
So
guy.
I don't like future game lines. I like futures as in season results. That's where you get good value. You get a ton of plus money on.
Appreciate the distinction.
Well, there is a distinction.
Ask Omaha Ryan. He'll know.
Omaha Ryan, we're sending out the bat signal. Where can I find early lines?
North Dakota State, Colorado.
That's a beautiful question.
Hold on. I might have something here.
What?
Nope, I don't. Just kidding.
You know what my friend Mike Boker would say?
What's that?
Nice show prep.
I didn't know you were going to ask about early show. Listen, you want to see my show prep we never get to?
I don't know why, but it's technical, right?
It is technical.
I'm looking. Okay, nope. They're not. It's not locked yet.
Okay,
It's not out.
Nice show prep. Speaking of which, did you see Ed Foley make the rounds the other day because Boker's a Millard West guy. Millard West, Benson, Northwest, and Elkhorn South, maybe? You talk about being visible.
Foley's out there.
Yeah.
He's always out. We like that. We takes the pictures of the high schools. See, I did know that because I did prep a little bit for the show.
It's the lowlights.
Oh my gosh. I'm tempted to tell. I think I'm going to talk to Bill and Chris about the level of hostility of this work environment.
That's what I'm excited about.
Especially over a break.
No, you loved me during breaks.
But I know I'm black. I'm well aware. You didn't have to say that. And I'm kind of offended. It's 2024. Everybody's mad when you just breathe wrong.
Yeah.
Nobody can do that.
You were laughing so hard you were breathing a little bit wrong.
Shane
over
goes,
there,
did you
so-
fall off the stage?
I did thought you fell off the stage for a second. Or I thought you were going to fall off the stage.
Well, there clearly isn't steps, so I might.
Well, there's steps over there. See, they
that
built
is
them.
so far away from me that
They're
I
wooden.
feel like
That's how things get done.
a pretend lawsuit
That's
coming.
Troy.
Dannon.
Like
I
the
saw
yogurt.
him the other day. I met his new hire.
I'll get after it.
Just a lot of good things, Ravi.
We like him.
Yeah. Not as much as you like Latif, because apparently he's a lot like somebody else we like.
Listen,
I'm sitting here and him and Haw.
I'm going stylistically, right? I'm not
you
saying,
can commit. It's okay.
Well, no, okay. I want to give context, though. I'm not saying he's going to be the 8th pick of the draft. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, you shot your shot early. There was no buildup.
Well, nobody's going to. I mean, I'm just a little tease for people. See if they pick up
No,
on it.
I'm pretty sure people will pick up on who the 8th pick of the draft was.
So if you watch TJ Latif, Nebraska's 2025 quarterback commit, and I said this to you yesterday, and I watched some more highlights because that's all I've got. I'm not watching full game film. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to lie to you and be like, yeah, I watched game film. I'm watching highlights just like everybody else does, right? But the highlights, they're a little Michael Penix-y. The way he throws the ball, he's got kind of a whippy arm action. They're about the same size. They have a similar sort of running profile in terms of.
I thought that was very creative. I get a lot of the lazy CJ Stroud takes.
Is it just because of his hair? I don't understand.
Well, and proximity. I mean, that's about.
They grew up in the same.
Yeah.
Or they played in the same area. Yeah, I don't like doing that.
Patterning of the game.
Yeah, I don't really love doing that. I watch him and I go, the throwing motion, he reminds me of a right-handed Michael Penix. Now, probably more Indiana Michael Penix than Washington Michael Penix. But, there's definitely things to like there.
I had to really, really, really stay with Michael Penix because I liked him early, and I think I was working with Severe, and I thought Indiana could have a really good year. His coming out year. So it was the year after the dive against Penn State.
Yeah, so that was 2020.
I thought he was going to – I'm like, I really like Penix. I think he's got a chance to be really good.
Yeah.
They ended up kind of getting hurt, turned the ball over quite a bit, ended up getting benched. And, people were like,
didn't complete a ton of his passes the last couple of years.
People were like, yeah, how'd that Penix thing turn out for you? And I was like, yeah, maybe I missed on that one.
Got to stick with it.
But I didn't miss on that one.
Did not miss.
I could see the Latif thing, though.
That, fit the way they look when they play
I
the
definitely
position.
like the arm action.
Yeah. That's what
and the movement in the pocket. If you put those little dots on people.
Yeah.
and you do simulation like when EA Sports is coming out, like if you used Penix for Latif, you think it would be?
I think you'd see a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like he's very running as a last resort for him, but he's capable, right? Like he's looking.
And Penix was better pre-injuries too.
Yeah, he ran more pre-injuries, but like he's looking.
I actually think that's going to serve him well though down the stretch.
Oh, 100%.
Because now he's learned to scramble and buy time different.
Yeah, you're looking, and then there was a couple plays on there where he baits the defenders into guys getting open because he gets to the perimeter and basically makes the defender make a choice, so he's able to dump it over him, which is, I don't know if it's a high level thing, but it's a thing you don't always see. I really appreciate that out of a mobile quarterback when they're able to.
And there's multiple ways to do it, right? Because you see a Jaden Daniels, he'd probably house it, right? Because once he was out of the pocket,
he's gone.
He's running,
right?
But by the way, as excited as Commanders fans could be about guys throwing on air, appears to be peak height for Daniels.
Yeah, they're pretty excited about it.
He does throw a beautiful ball.
I will say the one thing about Latif, speaking of whipping it, I think he's there. I noticed a little bit of, and I don't know how much. I know you've watched him some at least, but I don't know how much you picked up on. There's a little bit of an inconsistency in his footwork on vertical routes versus like middle of the field crossing
you
routes.
see that with a lot of young quarterbacks with arm talent. I would even say the same thing about Dylan Raiola.
Yeah, that's something that you brought up before. Is the footwork drives you crazy a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, because when you're that natural of an arm talent, sometimes
it can make you lazy.
And you haven't had a lot of times the experience and the high level coaching where you can fall back on muscle memory. So
it's easy to just rely on what works.
Yeah.
And
that was always my thing with Anthony, where people would talk about his throwing motion and his mechanics. And what would I always say? He's got time.
Yeah.
Like you can teach him.
Go coach him up.
Yep. You can teach him what you need to teach him. The things that he's really, really good at.
Hard to teach.
You can't teach. I had two coaches. It's funny. I had two coaches. One obviously at Nebraska and one at a different school that was visiting. Tell me that they would take Anthony's upside over Teddy's, even if it's not at quarterback.
Yeah,
I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
Just for them to come back and revisit it, right? But obviously, coach at Nebraska, like you go back and you're like, okay, mistake, not a mistake. How much of a mistake? Let me just go back and see this again.
Yeah.
So they're really in tune because they have so much tape. But the other coach that was visiting was just kind of in passing when we were comparing body types to another guy that they like in the Metro, and he said, "Gosh, his fluidity reminds me of Anthony." And I said, "Oh, that's interesting. You picked him for a comp." And then
as opposed to Teddy.
No, just in
general.
Yeah, because they don't play the same position.
Yeah. That is always interesting when you're like going on body movement versus.
But this guy that recruits is exceptional. He's elite.
Yeah.
He's an elite level recruiter.
Yeah.
So that it didn't surprise me that he went that deep.
Yeah.
Because he just doesn't do the lazy comps.
Well, and you'll notice with Latif on the vertical passing stuff, he's super accurate. Like really like layers the ball over defenders, like really accurate. On some of the crossing stuff, occasionally it's a little off.
It's hard for young guys.
And I think it's the footwork issue because I'm not going to pretend like I'm a football coach or a QB coach or whatever, but I'm really good at like pattern recognition, right? So I see a couple balls that are like a little bit here instead of here. And I go back and watch. I'm like, okay, what happens when he's throwing it when it's here versus here?
We play
it's the feet.
We play defenses all the time, depending on what we think the caliber of the quarterback is in high school. We'll leave middle of the field open.
I will say
we'll go low hole, high hole, and say, okay, you want to make a living between the hashes with our guys? Go ahead.
I will say one of the things
and teams at this level at high school, they can't do it.
One of the things I did like about Latif is he made a lot of hay in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
He like half his highlight tape was middle of the field throws.
So that's something to keep
which
an eye
is
on,
a good sign.
At his age,
that's
especially with another year.
Super common.
Nope, not at all.
Coming up next, we got Rashad Phillips talk a little NBA here on Hurrdat Sports Radio.
We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. We will be back. Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
Tatum spins on the vert to the left hand, falls away, really tough three, got it! Whew. And Tatum pumping his fist. He's put the Celtics up by 5. He's got 23 in the first half.
Shea down the lane, floats left corner, Jordan. Catch and shoot, rainbow three is on the way. Ka-ching it, Thunder money ball! Thunder 92, the Mavericks 88.
Kicking off hour number 3 here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on KFOR in Lincoln for this third hour, as well as Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla on the Pillar Exterior stage. We are joined now by NBA prospect specialist and author of the book Basketball Position Metric, Rashad Phillips. Rashad, what's going on this morning?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me.
My man, that coined the phrase over the years. This is really what has drawn me to you over the years of doing interviews with you. I just love the talk, hashtag talk soon. You end Twitter beefs with talk soon. You start meaningful Twitter dialogue with talk soon. It's just like it's a great catch-all.
Thank you so much. And I really mean it. There's always talk soon.
Yeah, talk soon.
Talk soon. All right, Rashad. So talk to me here. You tweeted out yesterday that the Orlando Magic are one elite point guard away from being in the NBA Finals. Like, walk me through this process, and what is that elite? Like, when you say elite point guard, like, give me a guy that would make sense, whether it's realistic for him to go there or not. A guy that you're talking about, so I know what headspace we're in.
Oh man, I have no idea who an elite point guard should be. Let me guess here. So when you look at you look around the NBA, it's not a lot of elite point guards per se. I would consider De'Aaron Fox one. I would consider him an elite point guard. I would consider Trae Young an elite point guard. I would consider Lonzo Ball kind of an elite point guard, hybrid guard per se. I think those are three guys that could be on the market if Orlando was trying to really get to the finals and pair someone with Paolo and Wagner. One of those three guys could be the player that could take them over the hump.
Can I just say, Rashad, I'm so glad that you said Lonzo Ball, because like people with the injuries and everything, he hasn't really been on the court much the last couple of years. But I love a healthy Lonzo Ball. Like, I'm a huge fan, and I hope we get to see that some point again.
I think so as well. I know he's been injured, and like I said, as well as his brother over in Charlotte. If both of the Ball brothers can just get healthy, I think they can change franchises if they're healthy. And again, with their size, ability to make people around them better, I mean, those are guys that can get you over the hump.
I'm going to go back to Orlando here just a little bit, even though we're in Omaha, Nebraska, because it's fascinating. I'm really good friends with some of the guys that run the Minnehaha Academy up in Minnesota. So I've watched Suggs as a two-sport guy since he was, middle school. You don't want to sacrifice what he brings to the court defensively, but just the pairing of him and Fultz, it appears that Suggs kind of found his way after a little bit of time the last half of last year. Would you want to mess with that?
I mean, if you have a chance to get an elite player, you have to mess with that.
Because they need a shooter.
They need, and that, when the elite point guards that we've talked about are guys that can do not just shooting, but also they need a creator, a shot creator.
Yeah,
a lot of times watching the Orlando Magic, that the offense is stagnant, and we rely, and I'm saying we because I live in Orlando. We rely too much on Paolo to do too much. It's almost like he's playing that LeBron role, where it's like we give it to P5 and he has to create something. And I think that is where, if you look at the playoffs have become back to the 2000 era, late 90s basketball, where guys are gapping the defensive lane and forcing guys to make shots and create plays. And Orlando lacks creators. You got to have a creator. You can't just have guys that can just shoot. You got to have a person that can create those shots for the shooters.
Rashad, let's talk about creators here for a second, because one of the guys that we've seen turn into that for a young Oklahoma City Thunder team, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of the best players under 25 in the whole, or 25 or under in the whole league. But we've seen a lot of those age range guys. I'm looking at, obviously you got Anthony Edwards in Minnesota. You've got SGA is 25, Luka's 24, 25, and we're not even talking about his teammate Chet with SGA. And then we got Wemby out there just being a freak, and I think he just turned 19 years old. Like, if you're taking a guy that is 25 or under, who's your number one draft pick in that? If you just get to pick a guy.
Yeah, it would be SGA. I mean, we can't fool ourselves when we put the age of 25 and under. I don't know the ages of all the kids, but SGA to me is the best 25-year-old in the NBA. I mean, and he's proven that. And people will probably try to give me flack because they think it's Luka, but I don't think so. I don't think it's Anthony Edwards either. I think SGA is the best 25 and under whatever year old in the NBA. He's done more with less. That will be my argument.
Mm.
He's done more with less. If you look at Anthony Edwards, who I love, he's playing with the Defensive Player of the Year. He's playing with elite perimeter defenders. He's playing with Karl Anthony Towns. If you look at Luka has played with Jalen Brunson. He's played with Kyrie Irving. And you look at SGA, and he's playing with, like, Chet Holmgren, who is
another kid.
A rookie.
Yep.
He's a rookie.
Yep.
Right? So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has done more with less, and that's why he's the best 25-year-old in the NBA.
And I think the amazing thing about him is he doesn't have a real comp. Like, nobody really plays basketball like that with the change of direction and the herky-jerky, and it's just hard to replicate. It's not like you can say, hey, let's go play like that. Like, he's just hard to replicate.
I agree 100%. He's like, yes, it's like he morphs into different type of style of players depending on the situation. Like, he has a little bit of like that Manu Ginobili craftiness to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one.
He has a little bit of like the Kobe Bryant in him, the way he gets to his spots. He has a little bit of Kyrie Irving with his trickery with the ball. Like, he's
even got some Jokic in him where he can wrong foot you.
Yeah, he can wrong foot you. Like, so he kind of is one of those players that can morph into the style of player depending on the defensive coverage. So last night was more of his like a Kobe Bryant moment because he was just getting to his spots and he was elevating. And with his size at 6'6", 6'5", he knows how to initiate contact, and then he uses that contact to create space, and he knock down shots accurately. So he is just a tremendous basketball player, and to see what he's doing going toe-to-toe with Kyrie and Luka, I mean, we can't ignore that.
Rashad, he's under 25, and we forget about him because he's missed so much time for multiple reasons. But could you see a situation where in the next year Ja Morant is on the move?
On the move?
Big contract, I know.
No, I think Ja Morant will still be in Memphis. I mean, let's not fool ourselves here, guys. Let's not fool ourselves. Ja Morant is still the most electrifying basketball player in the world. Let's not fool ourselves.
Interesting.
We can't fool ourselves. Just because he hasn't played this season due to injury, that doesn't take away that Ja Morant is the most electrifying basketball player in the world.
Rashad, let me ask you this. So, I understand the argument for SGA.
We don't even put him in the under 25s when we have the discussion. We forget about him.
I understand. Yeah, well, I mean, he's been gone for a minute. I understand the argument for Ja Morant. But like, if I'm just like, hey, give me Wemby and his upside, you can have everybody else. Like, am I crazy?
No, I don't think you're crazy. You're saying, hey, you're betting the farm on a 7-4 hybrid post with tremendous fluidity that gives you defensive awareness that can shut down the paint, that can guard perimeter players, and also give you 25 to 30 points and 10 rebounds and 3.5 blocks and alter another 7 shots. No, you're not crazy. You're smart.
Let me ask you about the Celtics, because I ask all the time, just because what they bring to the table, the level of dominance. They don't have another star, I don't think, that's as scrutinized as Tatum. They got this is a big year because you got to figure out what to do with them. How much pressure? Like, if you're Boston in that front office, is this win or bust? Because I feel like Rashad, we've said this a couple of years in a row, and maybe it's only us in the media saying it because they've held pretty firm.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's win or bust, but there's an old saying that never confuse activity with achievement.
That's my favorite.
And I look at the Celtics and it fits them. It's so fitting for the situation that they're in. So winning the championship obviously would be an achievement, but trading Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, which they won't trade Jason Tatum if they trade Jaylen Brown, that wouldn't be achievement. That would be activity.
Well, I feel like we always hear that, though. Like, until they committed a little scratch to Jaylen Brown, it was always like, well, can't play together. We've reached, and maybe Porzingis was the answer, as kind of a tertiary glue guy. But I still feel like we're at the same crossroads with them.
We are, but again, you can't. Trading Jaylen Brown or whatever, that's just activity. It's not achievement. It's like Boston, the Celtics are pretty much on a treadmill right now, right? They're just running in place. And they will be in the finals. They will beat Boston. I mean, they will beat New York or Indiana. They will be in the finals again. It's going to be hard, but I think they got the necessary pieces. I think Porzingis was a tremendous piece.
Yeah.
Pritchard has shown people that he's a worthy player. Derek White is a great serviceable player as well. So they have the pieces. Drew Holiday, they have the pieces to be a championship team. So if they fall short, you don't change anything. You keep that team. You keep moving forward because you won't find better pieces at this time than you already have.
So, Rashad, you mentioned you think the Celtics are coming out of the East, out of the teams in the West. How many of those four left do you think can win a title if they emerge?
I don't want to. I think all four can because they all present different.
That's
I mean, like let's take Dallas, right? Let's take Dallas. I think with Luka and Kyrie, you got two offensive juggernauts, right? You got two offensive juggernauts, but that's not even the entire tale of that roster. What Daniel Gafford has brought to Dallas, and I don't know if you guys remember, but Daniel Gafford was my favorite player coming out in the draft. I went on every show.
I almost screenshot some of the old tweets too.
Yeah, I stood on my soapbox and was like, Daniel Gafford is the one in this draft. He is the person you have to get. So I was disappointed that Chicago didn't really give him a shot, and it looks like the Washington Wizards were trying to tank, so they got rid of him. So he's landed in Dallas. He's been the person that can get Dallas over the hump and help them win the NBA title. Denver, I don't have to break that down. We all know why they can win the NBA championship. Minnesota, obviously with the emergence of Anthony Edwards and his ability to take over games offensively and also defend guys, Minnesota can win the championship as well. And OKC, we see what they're doing as well. So I think all four teams in the West can win the NBA title. I don't think the other three teams outside of the Celtics in the East can win the NBA title.
So
this is
go ahead.
all on the Celtics here.
Okay, so I'm maybe I just want to be right. So I'm gonna try not to ask a leading question, but I haven't made fun of Minnesota, but I've been telling people slow down on Minnesota just because offensively sometimes they look like they're a mess. And I get the elite level defensive prowess. I do. But we forget that Anthony Edwards is not even first team All NBA. Great player, but we act like when they were up 2-0, this was like they've arrived. They still have this level of offensive immaturity that I just don't know if they can overcome, whether it's the degree of difficulty of shots, the isolation, 31-foot three-pointers. They just seem like, I don't know what the I don't know how they settle down and just get buckets in playoff style basketball if it gets crunch time. I mean, you just turn the ball over to Anthony Edwards. I could see that. Other teams have gotten away with it, but
a lot of teams do that.
Yeah.
A lot of teams turn the ball over to their star players.
But it doesn't seem like he creates for other guys like some other guys.
That's not his style. That's not his style of play. You can't ask him to be something that he's not. You can't ask a grape to be an apple, right? So you're asking a shooting guard to be a creator. That's not what he is.
But in the same vein though, can I say I can see where that wouldn't work for as prolific a scorer as he is.
That's what he is.
Okay.
That's what you get.
Okay.
You're asking a wide receiver to throw touchdown passes. You can't. No. What he does is he catches touchdown passes. He doesn't throw them. So Anthony Edwards is a traditional shooting guard. The term shooting guard, he's there to shoot. The title isn't passing guard. It's called shooting guard. So what he does is put the ball in the basket. That's his job. That's what people come to see him do. That's what they pay to see him do, is score the ball. They don't come to see him create for others. That's not his job. That's why they got Mike Conley there, who is a traditional guard, a guy that can set the table. I think Minnesota can win an NBA title as well because they've proven that they beat Denver twice. Okay, and that this series is not over. It's not over. Not over, and I'm just taking up for the Minnesota fans. I believe all 4 West teams can win the NBA championship. I only think one East team can win the NBA championship, and that's the Boston Celtics.
Rashad,
that's just how I feel just from looking at it.
Gotcha.
For sure. Rashad, let's switch gears here and talk about incoming NBA prospects in this 2024 draft class. You mentioned you were a huge Daniel Gafford guy when he came out in 2019. Is there somebody that you're particularly fond of in this draft that maybe people aren't paying a ton of attention to?
Oh man, I really like, and I don't want to be Captain Obvious. I love that the Hawks have the number 1 pick. So I've been getting a lot of questions about Alex Sarr, and I want to talk about him because I played for Perth, the Perth Wildcats. I played over in Australia. So I have a connection to that team. Like I played over in Australia. I played in Perth. I really like Alex Sarr. I think he should be the number 1 pick, and really breaking down his game. He reminds me a lot of Evan Mobley for the Cleveland Cavs. He's a little bit more agile than Evan Mobley, but he brings some of the same type of production. His defensive awareness, his shot blocking ability, his athletic ability. He's a better athlete than Mobley. And I think the Atlanta Hawks should go there, and that would be the player that I would like to highlight just because I love the Atlanta Hawks because of Trae Young, obviously. But I think Sarr's the pick for them to go with.
Are there any like American college players that you have? Because
I got one.
Yeah.
Okay, Rashad.
Give me one. Give me one. You give me one.
So Dillingham is interesting because will he?
Okay.
I'm only curious because of the track record of these guys that have left Kentucky. Always seem to be better pros, even though they were highly touted at Kentucky. And I'm not saying Cal coaches offense out of guys, but these guys just bloom from Bledsoe to Booker to Davis to whomever else, right? And Dillingham reminds me of a guy that may be like that because he's capable of being a bucket.
Yeah, he's a bucket. So
what is it about the Kentucky guys where they make better pros?
I don't. It's hard to really grasp that Kentucky players make better pros. Let me tell you why.
Well,
I feel like those kids are pros before you recruit them. That's why he recruited them, because he thought they were pros.
Yeah, I get it. Not to say they aren't good players. I get it. Cousins, all of them. Like Wall was a better pro when he was healthy. Bledsoe was a better pro when he was. Booker certain. What? Who? Give me one. You want to debate?
John Wall has the greatest high school mixtape ever.
Again, not saying he's not. No, he's getting 5 stars for a reason. I'm not discounting that. I'm saying better offensive players when they leave.
Because obviously the college game has its confinements, right? So you're not going to see like NBA style players all the time in college because of the rules. I think the rules allow Kentucky players to expand. I don't think it's a Calipari thing. I think it's a college confinement thing. So now once these Kentucky players get to the pros, they're like, oh, look at all this freedom. The lane is wide open. So they're able to maximize the talent that Calipari saw in them in high school, and they're able to display it more because there isn't the same confinement at the NBA level than it is at the college level.
Rashad, let me get you out of here on this. One of the guys that I think is one of the most interesting prospects in this year's draft because of how he plays is Zach Edey, obviously the center from Purdue. I mean, 20, 30 years ago, that guy's probably number 1 pick in the draft.
Number 1 pick. Yeah.
But now you're like, okay, maybe mid, late first rounder. Like, what do you make of a prospect like that is just like a man that's kind of picked up from the 80s and dropped into the 2020s?
Yeah, I think with his size, he's still a first-round pick for me. I think you take him in the first. I think you take him in the lottery because he has shown ability. Yeah, you take him in the lottery. I think you get a shot blocker, a guy that can clog up space. You need space cloggers still. We're looking at the playoffs and guys like Daniel Gafford. Those guys, they clog up space. You need guys that can do that and alter shots and score with their back to the basket or pick and pop and hit the 15-footer. So I think he warrants the lottery pick. And before I get off, I absolutely love Dalton Connect from Tennessee. I think
Speaking of buckets,
I think he's the player. I think he's the player that nobody is talking about that will shock people in this draft. I think Dalton Connect is the player that you should draft. I would draft him in the top 5.
It's funny you brought him up because that's the guy I would have taken as player of the year over Edey. So I'm on the same page with you there, Rashad. Rashad, we appreciate the time. I'm sure we will catch up again, as you would say, talk soon as we get closer to the NBA draft. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Talk soon.
Yeah, appreciate it, Rashad.
That's Rashad Phillips. He's NBA prospect expert and analyst.
I didn't even get a chance to say Tyreek Evans. It's a long list.
It is. Coming up next, we got Diane Mendenhall from the Omaha Supernovas. She's the prez. She's runs everything over there for them. We'll talk to her about the Pro Volleyball Federation Championship starting tomorrow. That's coming up next.
We will be back. 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 You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities, KFOR in Lincoln. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here on the Pillar Exterior stage. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, almost everywhere you can find podcasts. You can find Hurrdat Sports Radio as well, and you can find me over at Warhorse Sportsbook, whether it's in the casino in Lincoln or Horseman's Park here in Omaha. It's the best place in Nebraska to place your sports bets. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, MLB. You got golf coming up this weekend as well. Whatever you can think of. There's big boxing match this weekend as well. Fury and Usyk. Man, there's almost every major sporting event available to you at Warhorse Sportsbook. If you got any questions, go to warhorsecasino.com/sportsbook for a full list of details and house rules. That's Warhorse Sportsbook. No bets, no glory. We are joined now, I believe. Yes, Shano?
Yep.
We are joined now by Diane Mendenhall. She is the president of your Omaha Supernovas. Diane, how are you this morning?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Good. Good morning, Prez. You sound like you're in a fantastic mood. Does that have a lot to do with positioning yourselves in the postseason in a good spot? I'm sure it does.
Well, exactly. I'm actually sitting here at the CHI Center and just finished the championship administrative meeting with all the teams. So, you know, I flashed back to my Husker days and NCAA Final Fours. And so it just, all of a sudden the adrenaline hits another notch, and the enthusiasm and excitement in the arena and throughout the community is just fabulous.
Yeah, we've got obviously a big one as it starts tomorrow, the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation Championship. Just what has gone into like this whole process? Obviously, bringing the league, getting it up and running, getting the Supernovas up and running. Like we're almost at the end of the rainbow here. Like, how do you feel right now as the finish line is finally in sight?
It's definitely surreal when I think about what's happened over the last, 12 months. This league was, over a dozen years in its creation, and then debuting this year, and the Omaha Supernovas, and a credit to our owners and the franchise and how they've equipped us to, get through a season extremely successful, having that number 2 seed going into the championship. And, I just, as a female, as a woman in our country, the ability to have these players have the opportunity to play in the United States for a major league professional championship is just unbelievable. It's just, I shouldn't say it's very believable now. You have to go back to the founding of the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, and that's where we're at today. And we get to make history here in Omaha.
I got to give you a chance to brag on your staff a little bit, because we get to see the finished product when the ladies take the court, and we see the stands, and you got Grant and Murphy and Jeff Ekstrom, guys that I know that like the support staff behind the scenes that have helped you guys have to be so malleable and adjust with kind of this first year stuff. That your team has to be pretty proud too. Incredible job in year one.
Yes, we're definitely proud of the women that we put on the floor, but I thank you for mentioning them, because they, it's a labor of love, and there's no accolades or spotlights on them. And Grant Gallo, what he does in regards to the overall operation, and Rick Pruitt right at his side, and then Andy with the in-match production, and Jacob with ticket sales and making sure the venue is full, and then everything from, Jeff and Nick with the media and the social aspect of it and what we're putting out there to help, Omaha and the state of Nebraska and outstate is falling in love with this team. And it's because of the efforts that they've put into it, and this tremendous labor of love.
Well, Diane, that, being raised here, spending a ton of time at the Nebraska Athletic Department, you kind of probably had to get a sense that this thing was going to work here in Omaha. Did you have any ability to kind of predict just the level at which this city would fall in love with the Supernovas team, with the attendance the way it's been and the support the way it's been?
When you see that, smashing those attendance records, and it's kind of both sides of the coin. I'm overwhelmed by the outpouring of support and that we've received. But on the flip side, that's what we do here in Nebraska. We rally around things. We enjoy our sports. We come together and we celebrate champions. And that's what you see in, across the state. We have people driving 3 to 4 hours one way to come to a match on Friday night at 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
And that love and that passion is what we do as Nebraskans, that there's this united sense of purpose. And when we have the opportunity to support women in the first major league professional sport in our state, you can't be surprised by our folks, our people, jumping on board and lifting up this team.
Part of making a good TV product isn't just good players, but fan interaction and involvement and level of electricity in the building kind of can come through the tube, whether you're streaming or however you get your services. Are you pleased or surprised that the energy, how it and you're always there, so maybe you don't see it as much, but the level of energy that comes through television viewing to watch this league, I think is pretty incredible. We talked yesterday, Ravi and I, about the markets that have embraced these teams, and just coming off the Grand Rapids deal, like you could feel the energy through the television.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear too. You're exactly right. I'm sitting in the venue, so I experience it there, but I don't see what the eyeballs are seeing, across the country and across the world. And it's a different type of energy too, because we basically have no target demographic. You're going to see 9-year-olds and 90-year-olds.
Yeah.
And male, female, they're, everybody. It's a family thing. It's a retiree thing. It's a, young girls, young boys, everyone embracing this. And I think it really gave me clarity when I sent a video of the crowd singing Sweet Caroline between sets 2 and 3 to my sister who was in California. And her response was, wow, listen to those young voices. And it just shows you the difference that it's a family experience. It's a energy that you've never experienced. Somebody told me once, it's like a Taylor Swift concert without Taylor Swift.
Diane, we'll get you out of here on this. We've obviously got the Pro Volleyball Federation Championships coming up this week, starting tomorrow. How can people get involved? I know we got matches, we got fan fest. Like, tell the people what they need to know.
Well, first of all, they need to go to supernovas.com and purchase their tickets, because we, it's just like the NCAA. We have to, the CHI Center and, our folks have to put on a neutral site. Well, we want to make sure that changes, that it's the Supernovas site tomorrow night for the match. So get all your friends and get some tickets. And, so it'll be a wonderful experience tomorrow night. You've got Atlanta and Grand Rapids, followed by the Supernovas and the Mojos from San Diego. And then we have a wonderful red carpet Oscar-style awards event. Obviously it's a private event on Thursday night for all the players and the teams in town. And then Friday, as you mentioned, it's Championship Central, a mini fan fest that's happening down in the Capital District, right across the street from the CHI. And we'll have autograph sessions from 5 to 6 with those championship teams. And then also Lemon Fresh Day, who's a big hit around Omaha and the state of Nebraska and into Iowa. We'll be playing until 9, and we'll have specials on food and drink and a lot of festivities. So people need to come down on Friday evening to that. And then, of course, on Saturday, the championship match. It's once again, this is all history. This has never happened before in our country. And on Saturday, those women will take the court, and it's winner take all, and it's $1 million. So a match for $1 million. When have you ever seen that before? It's 13-13 in the fifth, and whoever scores the next 2 points takes $1 million away.
Not a bad deal. I wish I had some talent.
I was gonna say, I should have picked up volleyball. Diane, I appreciate the time. I know you're busy. We appreciate you carving out a few minutes for us so we can learn a little bit more about what's going on this week. And I'm sure we will see you down there over the course of the week. Thank you so much.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much, Damon and Ravi. I'm excited for this to kick off and love all the support that you're giving us.
I appreciate it.
We appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
That's Diane Mendenhall, the president of your Omaha Supernovas.
You Rashad Lulla?
Huh?
Talk soon.
Yeah, I got it in my, he's in my head now.
Well, he got a mini fight started between me and you too. So
yeah, I still don't think he's right about the Kentucky guys. I'm on Team DB for that one, but I don't know about Ja.
It's always so personal.
I don't think you're right. No, you know. So full disclosure, he's probably right with electrifying. I just have a hard time calling Ja the most anything right now.
It's okay. You're owning that it's
a bias.
It's totally a you thing.
Because when you said who's more electric, I was like, I don't have anybody. I really don't.
No.
So I'm not.
That's why I always like to pose the question.
Oh, you got to make me think about stuff, DB. I like to have gut emotional reactions based in nothing whatsoever. It's what I do here.
You're a child.
We'll wrap up the show.
What's that going
next.
Again?
It's what I do here.
We will be back.
No, I don't think you're crazy.
To this day.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Radio.
Wrapping up the show here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities, KFOR in Lincoln. Live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here on the Pillar Exterior stage. I'm just scrolling all the way back up to the top of the show in my notes here since we didn't get to anything today.
No, I don't think you're crazy.
Do you know what I thought you were going to talk about?
What's that?
Creighton not playing and dropping the Atlanta still.
They got to get paid. We were just talking about a match for $1 million over with Diane Mendenhall. Little college basketball is doing about the same thing.
I mean, what are your options now as it's kind of landscape is changing?
I mean, if you get the opportunity, you got to do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a recruiting tool. Be like, hey, like this is what you get from us. You get $1 million for showing up and an extra $1 million for winning.
That's incredible.
That's a great deal.
That tournament had been kind of a staple.
Yeah. Battle for Atlantis is one of the good ones. So like one of the big ones. It's like Maui, Battle for Atlantis. Then there's one more that usually is pretty big.
No, I almost said Chaminade, but that's not it.
No, that's Maui.
Yeah.
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 Greatest upset of all time. Chaminade over number 1 Virginia. It's an NAI team. Come on, man.
I don't know.
Chaminade in, what was it, 78?
I mean, Baltimore County was there.
Those are both Division I teams, though.
Yeah, but it's semantics based on numbers. It's like that's like you saying FGCU isn't a good one. Like James Madison. Like I if you fast forward to schools that were generating revenues at that time where they played versus what they were capable of, like schools just weren't moving up then. I get it. It's Chaminade. It's famous. It was first. But you see that. I don't know. I mean,
it's not like since then, because there's a lot of those schools, like what you're saying, there's a lot of schools that were NAI schools back in the 70s and 80s have moved up.
Do you know any schools that have county in their name that are good? I'm just curious.
No, usually you're talking about some kind of a penal league.
Okay.
Like,
yeah,
playing for county.
Does this have anything to do with our off-air conversations? Because I'm offended if it does.
No, that's what when I hear county, that's what I think of is like county jail.
Coincidence.
It is coincidence.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
I know it.
No, I think it's a super cool deal that Creighton is involved with it, and it's pretty smart on their part to get in on it early to be able. I mean, that's a huge recruiting tool.
Yeah, and a chance to generate revenue.
Absolutely, and if you're getting money from other places, so you don't have to hit up your collective, your backers, whatever, to go say, hey, we need this money for X, Y, and Z. And you can just go and split, hey, you got 13, 15 guys, however many, and split, what is that, $60,000 a piece?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good scratch.
It's a nice chunk. That
is.
takes a lot of burden out of what you're trying to do over there, especially for a place like Creighton that's not a huge alumni base, you know?
Yeah.
And no football money, right? Like
I keep hearing that. Is that true?
Yeah, they haven't played football in quite a while.
Oh.
About 80 years, I think.
80? Shane.
It's World War II is when they stopped.
Are you taking Rory McIlroy Woods at the PGA to make a good showing?
Yeah, no.
I still don't know what he was trying to say with the Rory McIlroy Tiger Woods thing.
I almost never know what he's trying to say, if I'm being honest.
Sorry about that.
Are you prepared for the PGA?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the PGA, but I'm definitely not taking Rory.
I'll be honest, I haven't gotten into the PGA stuff yet. We'll talk some golf later this week as it gets started. But you know why? Is like I've been.
Are we going with Rat House?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he'll
fine.
be on Thursday.
He's good.
That's my guy.
Thank you for scheduling ahead of time.
They got a pickle on the chicken sandwich.
To this day.
You never know about producing.
Lucky for you guys, that day is not today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. Just opt out, steal some more money.
No, so
and wait for your son to not get drafted.
No, he's definitely gonna get signed by somebody though that wants to.
That's great.
He's 6'1".
Did you see what I was just getting ready to say? Did you see what he measured in?
Not a big guy.
Man.
Maybe he's gonna go on a growth spurt.
Plate's probably still open, but
Probably not
gonna grow.
Probably not gonna get to 6'8".
No,
you don't think so?
Mm-mm. I think 3 would be a stretch.
Should I have had that conversation that I had with you and Caleb?
Yeah.
No.
Got him with a splash. Like, look, bud.
Hey, bud, play football.
Yeah, you're 5'10". You're 5'10".
Oh, I see.
How tall is your dad?
5. He was not quite 5'11".
How tall are you?
5'11". I was
how
a quarter.
How tall is his mom?
Whew. Petty or not petty?
I mean, just
5'7", maybe.
That's what I would have guessed. Like, so like he's probably not gonna be NBA height. You know what I mean?
You never know.
You don't, but like you got a pretty good idea. That's how genetics work.
Days are over.
Unless you guys lived under like a power line or near a nuclear plant, like there's a outside source.
Would you roll the dice and move for the opportunity? No, you wouldn't, because you're not interested in kids. But just wondering if you'd move just for the sake of maybe getting a future Blue Jay, just for the odds that you could get hit by a power line.
No.
Juice didn't work.
Never ever. No, I'd go the chemical route if I did anything.
Wow.
Just a little growth hormone.
Does that work for height?
Well, here's what I know. Okay. Everybody in my family is 5'9" or under. I'm the giant of my family. My 2 cousins are both like 6'2", so I don't know.
Everybody.
I don't know.
Wow.
Everybody.
6'2"?
Shout out to Neil and Danny. They're giants among all the Indian people. I don't know what happened there.
6'2".
I was just maybe they were living under power line. I don't know. Somehow
yogurt.
There's like 15 envelopes every day, and we push every single last
I'm saying
one.
my uncle and my dad are both like 5'3". They're little dudes, right?
No big deal.
And somehow my nephew's like my cousin's like tower over me. I'm like, I don't know what happened here, because their mom's not tall either. So I'm just like, what's happening?
You didn't even recognize what you're doing?
I don't even recognize what they're doing. Would have been cool if I was 6'1".
I don't even recognize what we're doing.
Not saying I'd be an even better athlete, but I feel better about it. Probably wouldn't be. That's fine.
There's a 23 reference in there somewhere, and it ain't Jordan.
I'm just saying.
You seem very hurt right now. You're gonna be all right?
Nah, they're related. They look too much like us.
People love the long shots.
I'm just saying. There's a very short lineage of Indian tennis players that I could have been a part of if I was 6'1", but here I am, 5'9", built like a meatball.
So you felt short?
I mean, not like you, Shane, but I'm a giant for Indian people. I really am.
There's no failure in sports.
Did he ask that same question? Come on, Eric.
You asked me the same question last year, Eric.
Speaking of meatballs, kind of. So part of the reason I haven't really got into the PGA yet, because I've been doing deep dive over the last couple of days, trying to figure out what's happening in Minnesota.
Why?
The Twins?
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, what are you going to do?
Not beat up a summer sausage before I go to the bat and go hit?
Anger management issues.
Rocco Baldelli's over here talking about how he's afraid somebody's going to get sick because he doesn't apparently understand processed meats.
Well, most people don't either. That's why pregnant women put their lunch meat in the microwave.
Yeah, don't do that. That's gross.
Well, you're not supposed to eat cold cuts.
Why?
Something about processed meats.
I don't understand. All I'm saying is, if you're not paying attention, Minnesota was one of the worst offenses in the league. Somebody sent one of their players a sausage as like an endorsement deal. They brought it in the dugout for some unknown reason. Everybody start slapping said sausage in the dugout. That's a literal thing that happened. That's not a euphemism.
No, it's true.
They were hitting the sausage before they went up to bat, and all of a sudden they're the best hitting team in the league over the last like 15 games. They've won 13 out of 15 or 12 out of 14 or whatever.
Oh, they're 24-16.
Yeah, and before that, they were like 7-12.
Oh, I know. BC was
I
having a
don't
moment.
understand what's happening.
It's all about
The sausage.
It's protein diets.
They're not eating it.
Well, it's it's through osmosis.
That's not how osmosis works.
Give them nothing.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You never saw Osmosis Jones with like Chris Rock?
I didn't. I don't think that was scientifically accurate, though. I wouldn't base a lot of your.
Why? Because it was a cartoon?
Yes. Also, it was a cartoon character named Osmosis. I don't know that there's like. I know it's a sciencey sounding word.
Speaking of meatballs, did I tell you? Not the way that I act, but when we had lunch over at Coach Rules, they had like 5 or 6 different pasta trays.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to eat because I was obviously talking. And it was pasta, right?
Yeah, you're not a carb guy.
So like so after a couple hours, he's like, you going to get too good? Being a foodie? I don't want to eat good Italian food. I was like, nah, man, I don't want to waste your pasta by picking out the meat. And he looked at me as if he was literally going to punch me in the face. And he was
either you
like,
crack this thing or you get cracked.
Go pick the meat out if you want to go pick the meat out. We're all grown here, and I'm not on a budget. I was like, wow, I have the green light to waste food. So what did I do? Every tray that had meat in it, I picked just the meat out, whether it was a little piece of lobster, whether it was a shrimp, whether
we
it was
doing some
chicken.
lobster pastas? Because I'll mess around with some lobster.
Yeah, he had some.
They have some lobster.
It's a challenge.
No, it was lobster ravioli with these other little chunks of seafood in
Are
it.
you? Oh, so are you like splitting
the-
open the raviolis and getting the meat out?
The meatball, yes.
Don't do that. Don't split open the ravioli. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Should've
I can't even
I
answer that.
wiped a meatball off with a napkin.
That's childish. Come on.
Yeah, right.
Is it?
I wouldn't expect Zoe to do that.
Do you think that's childish?
Wiping off a meatball with a napkin
Maybe I shouldn't have said that out
in
loud.
5 and
front
7.
of other people?
I was relatively by myself. Are you serious?
No wonder Coach Rule thought he was going to hit
question.
you.
Maybe I should. He wasn't watching me eat. He didn't come over until after.
I need to talk to this dude.
Should I not have said that out loud?
You can say it out loud. It's childish.
Wow, really?
Wiping off, yes. Wiping off food with a napkin is childish.
Okay. Learn something new every day. This is why we can't be friends.
This is like some little kid, like, I don't like mayo.
The Nuggies and Tendies guy is telling me about childish for wiping off a meatball.
Well, listen, I am childish. I know it.
At least I wiped off multiple at a time. I felt like I was like cleaning golf balls.
Yeah, you like got the little.
Yeah. It's kind of it's therapeutic.
All right. Well, I'm not going to make any jokes because I want to come back tomorrow. That's TB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We're out.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.